Chapter 1296. Could this be the legendary Three Pure Ones? The female demon emperor was sent flying thousands of feet away by another Gu Fei who had silently appeared behind her. Blood seeped out of her mouth, and her demonic body suffered a great impact. Especially the dragon's spine on her back. It was nearly shattered by Gu Fei's punch, and all the bones in her body were shaken. This caused the female demon emperor to be both shocked and angry. Raw. An ant will always be an ant. So what if there's one more? The female demon emperor was enraged. Demonic chi surged from her body, and a demonic aura that could shake one's soul spread out. Bam! She directly attacked. Endless demonic energy gathered between her hands, and a pitch-black hand instantly covered the entire heaven and earth, grabbing towards the two Gu Feis that were rushing towards her. Gu Fei used the Three Pure Ones, creating another hymn. Together, they charged towards the female demon emperor. Yin and yang chi surged between heaven and earth, and the two Gu Feis were filled with battle intent. The Three Pure Ones could be said to be a supreme art of the immortal Tao. When cultivated to the highest level, one could instantly create three Gu Feis, and each of them would have the same cultivation base and strength. With Gu Fei's current cultivation base, he could only create one immortal Tao incarnation, but this was already very frightening. When two Gu Feis attacked together, the entire heaven and earth trembled. Rumble, the two Gu Feis each punched out. Their fists blossomed with resplendent golden light, and the power of metal in all directions was drawn. It was as if two golden suns had appeared high up in the sky, dispersing the heavy demonic chi, and collided with the giant hand that was grabbing down from the sky. The demonic aura was extremely dense. The evil empress displayed her monarch-level cultivation and strength. Her demonic aura spread in all directions. Her pitch-black hand pressed down, wanting to obliterate the two golden godly suns below. Meanwhile, Gu Fei's cultivation and strength had already reached the edge of the Tao-severing stage. His martial body was extremely powerful, and the martial path true power in his body surged violently. The golden aura illuminated the entire area. The world and the void were collapsing and being annihilated. Two heart-palpitating forces collided. The female demon emperor was really going all out, not holding anything back. Gu Fei didn't dare to be careless either, going all out to defend himself. A terrifying destructive force spread out from between Gu Fei and the female demon emperor in all directions. A circle of transparent ripples spread out, and then, the void was torn apart like a thin piece of paper. Seeing this scene, He Tian hurriedly retreated far away. A battle of this level was incomparably dangerous. He didn't want to be caught in the crossfire. Two golden figures fell from the sky, smashing into the ground. The pitch-black demon hand slammed down from the sky. Below the giant hand, the void collapsed, turning into the most primitive chaotic land. Damn it! Seeing this scene from afar, He Tian couldn't help being startled. The female demon emperor was actually suppressing Gu Fei. This wasn't a good thing. Boom! The earth trembled, dust flew everywhere. The pitch-black hand slammed down from the sky, and the soil on the ground violently undulated like waves. A giant palm print appeared on the ground. "Boss," He Tian exclaimed. Even a Tao-severing expert would find it hard to withstand the giant hand formed by the female demon emperor's endless demonic power. It should be known that the female demon emperor was incomparably powerful. Even among the Tao-severing experts, she was definitely one of the top figures. Such a figure wasn't to be trifled with. Humph. The human race martial body is only SOSO. The female demon emperor was incomparably arrogant. Although she had been punched by Gu Fei, her demon body was incomparably tough, so she had only suffered a minor injury. Given the female demon emperor's cultivation and strength, she could completely recover from such an injury in the blink of an eye. In ancient times, successful cultivators were synonymous with power. Seeing the female demon emperor suppress a cultivator like Gu Fei, she was naturally extremely excited. Bang! Just as the female demon emperor was feeling complacent, the giant palm print on the ground suddenly exploded, and two golden figures rushed out from the ground. Kill! The two Gu Feis shouted in unison. Their voices shook the vast sky, and their killing intent was like a rainbow, as if they hadn't suffered any impact. The two martial bodies emitted monstrous fluctuations of martial path true power. The three pure ones' secret technique was too mysterious. Now, except for Jiu Fei himself, no one else could know which one Jiu Fei's real body was. The two Jiu Feis were exactly the same. Even their aura and cultivation were exactly the same. It was equivalent to having an additional Jiu Fei. Clang. Endless golden light emitted from Jiu Fei and his incarnation. The void emitted a metallic sound, and golden divine swords appeared around the two Jiu Feis, circling and dancing. The two Jiu Feis pointed at the female demon emperor in front of them. Swish. Tens of thousands of golden swords rushed forward, blotting out the sky as they pierced towards the evil empress. Each of the golden swords would leave behind a hair-thin crack in space as they slashed through the void. Boss is starting to show his ruthlessness. He Tian saw this scene from afar. He had already guessed Jiu Fei's intention. Boss wanted to get rid of this demon emperor as soon as possible, so as not to cause any trouble. Demon devour heaven and earth. The female demon emperor executed the demon Dao's great technique, and a pitch-black vortex appeared in front of her again. Then, it rapidly enlarged and emitted a heaven-devouring force, swallowing all the golden divine swords into the vortex. "I'll let you devour," Jiu Fei roared as he unleashed the flawless Five Elements fist. Every punch he unleashed would radiate with a dazzling golden light, and the void in front of his fists would collapse. His fist energy shook the heavens and the earth, and he pushed forward with indomitable will. The pitch-black vortex that was swallowing heaven and earth was on the verge of collapsing. He used his fists to resist the female demon emperor's attack. "Go to hell!" The glabella of Jiu Fei and his immortal Dao incarnation emitted a dazzling purple light, and a terrifying fluctuation spread out from them. Swish. Two purple-gold divine lights shot out from the glabella of Jiu Fei and his immortal Dao incarnation. The dazzling divine light cut through everything, and it contained great Dao patterns. This was the primordial spirit Dao sword. The two sword shadows were extremely fast, and they slashed towards the female demon emperor. What is this? Not everyone knew about the immortal Dao's secret technique, and even fewer had seen it before. This female demon emperor, who had already severed her Dao, couldn't see through this primordial spirit Dao sword technique. She sensed danger and immediately retreated, wanting to avoid the two primordial spirit Dao lights. Chapter 1297. A demon emperor was instantly slain by Jiu Fei's primordial spirit Dao light. This caused He Tian, who was watching the battle from afar, to be extremely shocked and in disbelief. One had to know that this was a demon emperor. Moreover, it was a demon emperor that had severed her Dao for countless years. She was incomparably powerful, but her devil body was actually slain by someone. If such a thing were to spread out, no one would believe it. "You deserve to die." The female demon emperor roared in anger. She was already close to going crazy. Her opponent's secret techniques were endless, making her feel a sense of danger and uneasiness. The broken pieces of her devil body rapidly reassembled. Boundless devil chi shrouded her devil body. The female demon emperor's vitality was already injured. Although her body was reassembled, there was still a shadow in her heart. This was because she was defeated by a sovereign at grand completion. Swish. Two primordial spirit Dao lights directly rushed into the thick devil chi, piercing through the female demon emperor. Their speed was absolutely the fastest in the world. However, this time, the female demon emperor was prepared. She punched the void, wanting to kill the two primordial spirit Dao lights while she rushed into the primal chaos. Although this method was brilliant, it was still not enough to deal with the primordial spirit Dao swords. This was because the primordial spirit Dao swords could slay everything. The primordial spirit Dao swords instantly slashed into the primal chaos void created by the female demon emperor. However, at that moment, the two Dao swords rushed out from the primal chaos. PFFF. PFFF. Two soft sounds rang out. The primordial spirit Dao swords once again pierced through the female demon emperor's devil body. Wherever the primordial spirit Dao light passed through, a large amount of blood would flow out. Uwa! The female demon emperor roared. Monstrous devil chi engulfed the heaven and earth, enveloping this part of the world. The night seemed to suddenly descend as the devil chi was vast and mighty. Within the devil chi, this demon emperor felt that she was going crazy. She was actually injured by an ant. She found it hard to accept such an outcome. The primordial spirit Tao sword condensed the power of the great Tao. Even a saint who comprehended the Tao would be very careful when facing such a great immortal Tao technique. Ji Fei did not have the slightest bit of tenderness towards the fairer sex. Although the other party was a female cultivator, that did not mean that Ji Fei would show mercy. If one was hit by this terrifying divine light that contained the power of the Great Path, there would be very serious consequences. This was a wound of the Great Path, and it was very difficult to recover from. Boom! Suddenly, an extremely terrifying aura spread out from within the surging demonic chi. It was as if a great demon had awakened in the depths of the demonic chi. Boss, be careful. That guy is using a demon weapon. Hei Tian's voice rang out in Ji Fei's mind. Saint-level Mo weapon? Ji Fei sensed a trace of saintly might lingering in the demonic cloud above his head. This was a saintly grade demonic artifact refined by a demon saint. Swoosh! A black light that was as huge as a mountain broke through the layers of demonic chi without warning and shot down from the sky. It wanted to kill Ji Fei instantly. However, Ji Fei's battle experience was extremely rich. The instant the black light descended from the sky, he sensed it and dodged it with the 8 desolate steps. Ji Fei's martial body had a subtle sense of danger. The other party used a holy weapon. Ji Fei felt danger. The Mo weapon refined by the demon saint was extremely powerful and displayed a wisp of holy might. But this wisp of holy might was enough to shock the world. Swoosh! Another black light descended from the sky and swept towards Ji Fei below. Ji Fei dodged it immediately. The nearby spiritual peaks were swept by the black light and immediately turned into ashes. Nothing remained. What kind of Mo weapon is this? Ji Fei was very surprised. It seemed that wherever he went, there would be demonic light sweeping out from the demonic clouds in the sky, wanting to kill him on the spot. If it was an ordinary warrior, he would have died long ago. However, Ji Fei was different. He had the world's fastest speed. Often, when danger came, he could make a move that was beneficial to him and protect himself. Damn it! The destructive demonic light swept down from the demonic clouds. Ji Fei had no chance to fight back. This was the power of a holy level. With his current cultivation and strength, he could not compete with it. You have a holy weapon, so do I. After Ji Fei dodged a destructive demonic light, he took out the holy battle puppet. He entered the battle puppet with his divine sense and then drove the battle puppet to the sky. Bam! The battle puppet bombarded upwards with its palm. The power of a holy level surged out from the battle puppet's palm. The demonic clouds that shrouded the entire sky and earth were immediately dispersed by more than half. In the depths of the demonic clouds, a figure held a magic mirror and shone it at Ji Fei. On the magic mirror, there were demonic patterns appearing. The destructive power formed a black light and descended from the sky. The holy battle puppet did not dodge. It directly raised its palm and slashed. The extremely ferocious power was actually able to block the destructive light that shone down from the sky. This was a battle between saints, and Erebus could no longer intervene. The female demon emperor saw Ji Fei controlling a strange thing to attack her. She couldn't help but be shocked and angry. This humanoid puppet could actually display the power of a holy level. Hey, could it be the legendary primordial demon mirror? In the distant sky, Hei Tian saw the magic mirror in the female demon emperor's hand. He couldn't help but be startled. He recognized the origin of this magic mirror. Legend has it that the primordial demon mirror was a demonic tool refined by an ancient primordial heavenly demon. The primordial heavenly demon was a famous great demon in ancient times. The primordial heavenly demon was a demon saint. This demon saint was incomparably powerful. He once fought against a great saint of the human race. After being defeated, he could actually escape from the hands of a human race great saint. The primordial demon mirror was a holy weapon refined by the primordial heavenly demon. The destructive black light emitted from the magic mirror could sweep away everything. Even the void became very unstable under the illumination of the mirror light. This female demon emperor unexpectedly obtained the primordial demon mirror. This was something that no one would have thought of. This primordial demon mirror, after being missing for countless years, finally appeared. And the person who controlled this magic mirror was a demon emperor. Primordial demon mirror? What is it? Is it even more powerful than a virtualized realm? Jiyu Fei couldn't help but be cautious after hearing He Tian's words. The primordial heavenly demon, a demon that dared to use this name, was definitely not an ordinary demon. Rumble. The runes on the holy level battle puppet were activated by Jiyu Fei. The Dao pattern on its core began to emerge. A majestic holy aura spread out from the battle puppet's body. Kill. There was nothing much to say. The human race and the demons were irreconcilable enemies. When the two met, one side would inevitably fall. Chapter 1298. The Saint-grade battle avatar was incomparably powerful. Divine runes of the Great Path appeared all over its body, condensing the power of the Great Path. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth in the surroundings frantically gathered towards the battle avatar. Boom! The entire world shook as the battle avatar punched out. A powerful saintly might spread out, causing all living beings in the divine land to tremble. This was the might of a saint-grade battle, representing the strongest power in the world. Even the heavens and earth would change color, let alone the countless living beings beneath it. At this time, He Tian had already retreated far away. This was a battle between saints, and he could no longer interfere. He would only be throwing his life away if he stepped forward. Swoosh! Demonic clouds churned in the sky as a huge beam of black light the size of a mountain range radiated with terrifying destructive ripples, shooting towards the battle avatar that was soaring into the sky. The battle avatar that Jiyu Fei had taken control of erupted with towering killing intent. It didn't dodge or evade, and simply swung its fist upwards, shattering the destructive demonic light and pressing towards the demonic figure in the sky. One had to admit that the battle prowess displayed by the saint-grade battle avatar was far too great. Even the destructive demonic light of the primordial demon mirror could not destroy it. Jiyu Fei even suspected that this saint-grade battle avatar had been refined using the ancestral root of the ink spirit bamboo, which had been derived from the primordial chaos when the heavens were first created. One had to know that ordinary ink spirit bamboo could not possibly be so tough and nearly indestructible, and could even be branded with the veins of the Great Path. Only peerless divine materials could become the carrier of the Great Path and bear the power of the Great Path. Ordinary divine materials could not become the carrier of the Great Path. This was a scene that even He Tian was stunned by. A human-shaped battle avatar rose into the sky, swinging its fist and shattering the destructive demonic light. It charged straight into the churning demonic clouds in the sky. Jiyu Fei's main body withdrew his immortal incarnation at this time and retreated. With this saint-grade battle avatar, there was no need for him to personally take action. Above the sky, demonic clouds churned, and a terrifying holy aura spread out in all directions, shocking the heavens and causing all living beings in this divine land to feel uneasy. They worshipped in the direction of the holy aura while trembling. Jiyu Fei and He Tian retreated far away. However, even though they had retreated thousands of miles away, the pressure of a sage was still very strong. If not for the protection of their sacred weapons, Jiyu Fei and He Tian might not even be able to stand up. Buzz! A violet gold divine sword hovered above Jiyu Fei's head. Vast sword chi radiated from the sword, protecting the two people below. High up in the sky, the demonic clouds were dissipating. The saint-grade battle avatar had displayed its unparalleled battle prowess, and it was about to scatter the demonic clouds covering the sky. The strand of divine sense that Jiyu Fei used to control the battle puppet had a close connection with his body. Whatever the divine sense sensed would be directly reflected in his mind. The saint-grade battle puppet was equivalent to one of Jiyu Fei's avatars. He discovered that by using the battle puppet to display martial arts techniques, he could actually display most of the martial arts techniques' power, which surprised and delighted him. Boom! The saint-grade battle puppet punched out. Scarlet fist energy surged out like a sheet of heavenly fire, instantly enveloping the entire void and dispersing the endless demonic aura. Gu Fei's battle puppet struck out with the fire element fist. The fist energy of the fire element fist struck out with the power of a saint-grade battle puppet was so strong that even Gu Fei was shocked. The power of the fire element surged up into the sky. The female demon emperor was taken aback. She hurriedly activated the demonic mirror in her hand. It emitted a frightening black light that blocked the oncoming power of the fire element. Swish! The Primeval demon mirror emitted a frightening demonic energy fluctuation. A black light rushed out from the mirror. The void was silently annihilated under the light of the mirror. The Primeval demon mirror was a demonic sacred weapon refined by the Primeval heavenly demon. It possessed great demonic might. As long as one was illuminated by the demonic light of the demonic mirror, regardless of whether one was a human or a deity, an immortal or a demon, they would instantly perish. The monstrous fire element fist energy dissipated under the illumination of the demonic mirror. Gu Fei sneered and immediately struck out with the golden element fist. A golden light surged out from his fist, shattering the void between heaven and earth. The extremely ferocious fist force directly dispersed the black light that was shooting towards him. He struck out more than a dozen punches in succession, forcing the female demon emperor to retreat. The Primeval demon mirror in her hand was almost knocked out of her hand by Gu Fei's fist energy. This guy, the female demon emperor, could no longer remain calm at this time. The opponent's battle puppet was too abnormal. It was definitely a battle tool refined by a great sage. What kind of existence was a great sage? Enlightenment meant that one was a sage. As long as one truly understood their own great Tao, they could become a sage. However, a great sage was the emperor among the sages. There were not many people who could become a great sage since ancient times. The great sage's great Tao was almost perfect. They were invincible under the extreme saint realm. A battle puppet refined by a great sage was no trivial matter. The core of the battle puppet exuded a powerful sacred might. A figure sat cross-legged in the core. This person was no different from Gu Fei. It was a phantom formed by a wisp of Gu Fei's divine sense. After countless years, the spiritual imprint left by the original owner of the saint-level battle puppet had almost dissipated. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Gu Fei to obtain this battle puppet. I will beat you into the endless demon domain. The female demon emperor's words were extremely cold. She fully activated the Primeval demon mirror in her hand. Countless demonic Tao patterns emerged on the Primeval demon mirror. Buzz! The demonic mirror trembled, and pitch-black demonic runes rushed out from the mirror, interweaving into ancient demonic runes in the void. The void collapsed under the demonic power emanating from the demonic runes. Rumble! The void trembled. A big black hole appeared in the void. At the edge of the big hole, there were ancient demonic Tao divine patterns faintly visible, emitting the unique aura of the demonic path. The black hole seemed to be connected to a demon domain. It emitted a terrifying aura. In the depths of the black hole, there was a faint blood-curdling roar. It's really connected to the demon domain. Gu Fei was very surprised. The demonic technique that the female demon emperor evolved with the Primeval demon mirror was too strange and terrifying. The black hole emitted a heaven-devouring power, sealing the world in all directions. It wanted to beat Gu Fei into the endless demon domain. However, what Gu Fei's divine sense entered was a saint-ranked battle avatar. This battle avatar was not any weaker than the Primeval demon mirror. It had the power of a great sage. On the saint-ranked battle avatar, ancient Tao patterns emerged. Under the control of Gu Fei's divine sense, the battle avatar used the 8 desolate steps. Every time the battle avatar took a step, ancient Tao patterns emerged under its feet. It was walking on the great Tao. Even the black hole evolved by the Primeval demon mirror couldn't completely trap the battle avatar. An ancient martial ancestor's cultivation method? Could it be that this guy actually obtained the inheritance of a martial ancestor? The female demon emperor was very knowledgeable. She could roughly guess Jiyu Fei's identity. This person cultivated the martial Tao. Moreover, he had already gone very far on the path of martial arts. This human had unlimited potential. He had the potential to grow into a supreme being. However, such a genius would be recruited by all the major forces. If this human was allowed to grow, he would definitely become the second martial ancestor. This would bring great danger to the demons. The relationship between the human race and the demons was irreconcilable. Both sides wanted to exterminate the other. If the human race really had an indestructible battle physique, the first to bear the brunt would be the demons. As the female demon emperor thought of this, the murderous intent in her heart grew even stronger. You can't escape. The female demon emperor's voice rang in Jiyu Fei's heart. The black hole formed by the primeval demon mirror gradually expanded, swallowing the void in front of it. An invisible force affected the speed of Jiyu Fei's saint-ranked battle avatar, causing it to slow down. Although the saint-ranked battle avatar used the 8 desolate steps, it couldn't get rid of the devouring force of the black hole. Void reversal. Jiyu Fei didn't hesitate. With a low shout, the ancient runes on the saint-ranked battle avatar lit up, emitting an inexplicable fluctuation. Swoosh. The body of Jiyu Fei's battle avatar glowed with a divine light. This battle tool suddenly became a little transparent and disappeared into the void. What? Just as the saint-ranked battle avatar was about to be swallowed into the black hole and sent into the legendary endless demon domain, the humanoid battle avatar suddenly disappeared. Disappeared into thin air? How is this possible? No matter how calm the female demon emperor was, she couldn't help but change her expression. What kind of great technique was this? How could it be so brilliant? Each of the 9 secrets of the immortal path was said to be heaven-defying and possessed unimaginable power. The void reversal secret technique could imprint one's body between heaven and earth. When cultivated to the highest level, this immortal path secret technique could display the great power of heaven and earth. Being invincible in the same realm wasn't just a fantasy. It seemed possible. The next moment, Jiyu Fei's saint-ranked battle avatar appeared behind the female demon emperor without any warning and directly attacked the demon emperor. The female demon emperor was also quite impressive. She actually sensed danger and immediately rushed forward, wanting to dodge. But Jiyu Fei's saint-ranked battle avatar followed the female demon emperor like a shadow. His punch continued to advance forward. The martial path battle technique contained unimaginable power, displaying a terrifying and formidable divine might. This made the female demon emperor feel uneasy. Bam! Jiyu Fei's saint-ranked battle avatar's punch landed on the female demon emperor's back. This punch was different from the previous one. This punch contained saintly might and drew upon the power of the great Tao. Even a divine mountain would be turned to dust by this punch. He showed no mercy. Ah! The female demon emperor screamed miserably as she was sent flying several thousand zhong away. Her bones crackled. Who knew how many bones were shattered by Jiyu Fei's saint-ranked battle avatar? Even the primordial demon mirror in her hand flew out. Just SOSO. Chapter 1299. Each of the 9 secrets of immortal Tao contained heaven-defying divine might. They were the ultimate arts created by the supreme Tao ancestor and were known as the invincible arts. Jiyu Fei used the Saint-tier battle avatar to execute the anti-emptiness secret art of the 9 secrets of immortal Tao. His body merged with the void and rushed out from the envelopment of the primordial demon mirror's power. Not only that, he also silently appeared behind the female demon emperor and punched the female demon emperor's back again, almost shattering all the bones in the female demon emperor's body. Even the primordial demon mirror in the female demon emperor's hand was knocked out of her hand. The Tao-severing demon emperor was only SOSO. Jiyu Fei's battle avatar chased after her. He wanted to kill this demon's empress on the spot. Demons were the world. Jiyu Fei didn't show any mercy. The humanoid battle avatar's heart core emitted endless divine light. The Tao patterns that were branded on the battle avatar's body lit up and triggered the great Tao of heaven and earth. Saint-tier power surged out of the battle avatar. The entire world was trembling. Countless living beings were trembling. It was as if doomsday had suddenly arrived. One hand to cover the sky. The humanoid battle avatar stretched out its hand. An incomparably huge palm instantly appeared in the sky and enveloped the entire world. It slammed down on the female demon emperor below. A terrifying power surged down from the palm. The powerful impact caused the entire ground to tremble. Pitch-black cracks appeared on the ground. Ji Yufei controlled the Saint-tier battle avatar and used the martial path combat technique, heaven-covering hand. Demon moon illuminates the firmament. The female demon emperor felt a great threat to her life. She ignored her injuries and circulated the power of the demon Tao in her body to display her demon Tao phenomenon. Rumble. The entire world was shaking. Spatial cracks that looked like spider webs appeared in the void. The female demon emperor's body surged with an earth-shattering power. A black demonic moon appeared above the head of the demoness empress. It emitted an endless black light, causing the entire world to darken as soon as the demonic moon appeared. This was a phenomenon of the demonic path. A black moon rose, and it was like 100,000 ancient divine mountains were moving. It actually blocked the sky-covering hand that Ji Yufei struck out with the battle puppet's power. A deathbed struggle. Ji Yufei controlled this saint-tier battle avatar. Even if a real sage jumped out, he would not be afraid. The saint-tier battle avatar allowed Ji Yufei to compete with sages. Rumble, another large hand descended from the sky, striking the black demonic moon above the female demon emperor's head, causing it to tremble repeatedly. The demonic arts displayed by the female demon emperor actually showed signs of collapsing. Ji Yufei consecutively struck out 18 palms, each palm containing Tao energy. Finally, on the 18th palm, he destroyed the black moon. Wow! At the moment when the black moon was destroyed, the female demon emperor's demonic path phenomenon was destroyed, causing her to suffer a great impact, causing her to vomit blood repeatedly. When the large hand pressed down, nothing could contend against it and obliterate everything. Even if it was a Tao-severing almighty, it would probably be able to kill a large number of people with a single slap. Without any suspense, that female demon emperor was blasted down from the sky by Ji Yufei's palm and smashed into the ground, causing the ground to tremble and dust to rise. Ji Yufei did not have any protective feelings for the fairer sex. Suddenly, Ji Yufei's expression changed in the distant sky. Right at this moment, a bone-chilling murderous aura instantly enveloped him. Not good. Ji Yufei shouted and soared into the sky. At the same time, the saint-tier battle avatar in the distance also rushed towards him. However, all of this was a little too late. Bang! The void in front of Ji Yufei suddenly shattered, and a pitch-black demon hand grabbed out from the shattered void, wanting to grab Ji Yufei away. All the pores on Ji Yufei's body opened up as boundless martial Tao true force was released from his body. His life felt threatened, and he instinctively reacted. The martial Tao battle physique was the most sensitive to danger. Buzz! The purple-gold divine sword that was floating above Ji Yufei's head vibrated, and rays of destructive sword chi descended from the sword body, slashing at the huge hand that grabbed out from the void. At this moment, the female demon emperor was shocked again. She could feel that the purple-gold divine sword was extraordinary, and it seemed like this divine sword was also an incredible saint weapon. The power of the purple-gold divine sword had not been activated yet, and the female demon emperor didn't know that this unremarkable purple-gold divine sword was actually Ji Yufei's other extreme Tao saint weapon. The extreme Tao saint weapon was simple and unadorned, and when it wasn't releasing the extreme Tao saint aura, all the chi was reserved, and it was like an ordinary weapon, unremarkable. But once the extreme Tao saint aura was released, it was like an extreme Tao saint had descended, suppressing the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Other than the extreme Tao saint, no one could contend against the extreme Tao saint weapon. Swish! The void shattered, and the demon hand that grabbed out from the void was severed by the purple-gold divine sword's sword light. The sword light was like a hot knife cutting through butter, and after the demon hand was severed, it directly pierced towards the female demon emperor. The void was silently severed by the sword light. At this moment, the primordial demon mirror had already been retrieved by the female demon emperor, and it was floating above the female demon emperor's head, emitting a misty demonic light that enveloped the female demon emperor. But the sword light that descended from the purple-gold divine sword ignored the demonic light of the primordial demon mirror, and directly broke through the power of the primordial demon mirror, slashing into the demonic light. What? The female demon emperor was shocked and quickly retreated. One must know that the primordial demon mirror was a demonic weapon refined by the legendary primordial demon saint of the demons, the primordial demon. In ancient times, the primordial demon's demonic prowess was awe-inspiring, and he was a famous expert of the demons in ancient times. He had once fought with the great sages of the human race. There were countless human experts who had fallen under the primordial demon mirror. The sword light emitted by this divine sword could actually break through the power of the primordial demon mirror, which was really incredible. Could it be that this divine sword was even more powerful than a great sage-class demonic weapon? Jiyu Fei and the purple-gold divine sword scared the female demon emperor away, and they escaped the calamity. Then, they quickly retreated with He Tian, distancing themselves from the female demon emperor. This demon emperor was too powerful and dangerous. If it wasn't for the sage-class battle puppet, Jiyu Fei and He Tian would definitely not be this female demon emperor's opponent. Using the extreme Dao sacred weapon was very impractical. One must know that even with Jiyu Fei's cultivation and strength, it was very difficult to use the extreme Dao sacred weapon even once. It wasn't something that could be used to kill the enemy. The female demon emperor wouldn't let Jiyu Fei gather enough spiritual qi to activate the extreme Dao sacred weapon, condense the extreme Dao power, and launch an extreme Dao attack. At this time, the sage-class battle puppet arrived and intercepted the female demon emperor. Boom! A monstrous saint aura erupted. The humanoid battle puppet was like a saint from ancient times descending. A powerful pressure pressed down on the world, as if the void was about to collapse. The sage-class power was fully activated. On the humanoid battle puppet, divine runes of the Great Tao appeared, and the aura of the Great Tao was vast and mighty. Facing such a battle puppet, even the female demon emperor's expression changed. Swish! The female demon emperor directly activated the primordial devil mirror in her hand. A destructive demonic light immediately shot out from the mirror and swept towards the humanoid battle puppet. Bang! The humanoid battle puppet used the flawless five elements fist, shattering the demonic light with unparalleled might. It directly rushed towards the female demon emperor with unstoppable momentum, advancing forward with indomitable will. The female demon emperor was alarmed. Her aura had already been completely suppressed by the humanoid battle puppet. The current her could no longer compete with the humanoid battle puppet. Powerful strength needed to be controlled with an incomparably firm mental state. Panic, hesitation, uneasiness, and all sorts of unfavorable mental states would affect a cultivator's combat strength. Once a cultivator's invincible mental state was broken, defeat was only a matter of time. Jiyu Fei's mental state was extremely firm. He firmly believed that he was invincible, and he would advance forward with indomitable will. Even if he encountered an enemy that was much stronger than him, he would still not retreat. The stronger he encountered, the braver he became. Even those that were stronger than him would often be defeated by him. Swish! The female demon emperor didn't accept the challenge. She immediately rushed towards the primal chaos origin. She already had the intention to retreat and wasn't willing to fight with the humanoid battle puppet anymore. Jiyu Fei sneered. The humanoid battle puppet used the 8 desolate steps and traveled 100 miles in a single step. It chased after the female demon emperor. In just a few steps, the humanoid battle puppet had already caught up to the female demon emperor. However, the female demon emperor was ultimately a demon emperor, a great demon that had severed the Tao. She desperately activated the primordial devil mirror, and the destructive demonic light constantly swept towards the humanoid battle puppet from the front. The humanoid battle puppet might be powerful, but it still couldn't intercept the female demon emperor in a short period of time. The primal chaos origin was also very far away from them. A distance of several hundred miles was just a blink of an eye for the female demon emperor. She used the primordial devil mirror to protect herself and directly crashed into the primal chaos origin. Boss, don't let her escape. Hei Tian couldn't help stamping his feet anxiously. If this female demon emperor escaped, this divine land would no longer be a secret. At that time, there would definitely be many devils coming over. Ji Yufei and Hei Tian weren't willing to see this divine land being divided up by a group of experts. This land was opened up by the human race's great sage, and it belonged to them. Furthermore, this divine land should be the divine land refined by the ancient human race's great sage, the alchemy saint. The alchemy saint used this divine land to cultivate divine medicines. Not only were there immortal divine medicines here, but there was also the legendary myriad medicine universe cauldron. These things were things that could make all cultivators jealous and go crazy for them. Immortal divine medicines were much more precious than any divine treasury. Ji Yufei didn't hesitate. The humanoid battle puppet directly charged into the primal chaos origin and chased after the female demon emperor. The consequences of the female demon emperor escaping were something that even Ji Yufei didn't dare to imagine. Inside the primal chaos origin, there was only primal chaos energy. From the outside, this primal chaos land was only about 30 meters in radius. But once inside, it was like a true primal chaos. There was nothing inside, only the power of destruction. Chapter 1300. The origin of the primal chaos did not refer to a point. It referred to the most primitive state of the void of the world. There was such a special place in the world created by the great sage of the ancient human race. From the outside, it looked like an empty space with a radius of 10 jong. However, inside, it was like a boundless chaotic world. There was no passing of time, and everything was in its most primitive state. Boom! The primal chaos started to boil, transforming into earth, water, fire, and wind. All sorts of destructive power madly wreaked havoc. A humanoid battle puppet gave off boundless holy might as it fought against a demon god. Only saint-level power could break through the primal chaos. Ji Yufei's divine sense entered the saint-level battle avatar and displayed its true combat power. This kind of combat power would even make a sage pale. Although the female demon emperor also had the great demon sage's primordial demon mirror, she couldn't gain any advantage at this time. "I'll fight you to the death." The female demon emperor was coughing up blood. She had already been severely wounded, but at this time, she was going all out. Demonic essence surged from her body. A magic mirror floated above her head, pouring down endless demonic power. The female demon emperor fused with the demon mirror and displayed a great divine might, drawing out the formidable power of a saint. With a raise of her hand, the primal chaos was wiped out by the demonic light emitted by the demon mirror. The destructive demonic light continued to sweep towards the humanoid battle puppet. Everywhere it passed, the power of chaos and destruction would be broken apart. It was unstoppable, as if it could destroy everything in this world. The demonic tool refined by the great demon saint was unimaginably powerful. If such power was displayed in the outside world, it would probably sink an entire region. Ji Yufei's humanoid battle avatar was also extremely powerful. Every inch of the battle avatar's body was radiating with divine light. Divine patterns of the Great Path were circulating around it, and the power of the Great Path was boundless. He used the battle puppet's power to cast the flawless fist of the 5 elements. The battle puppet seemed to have a miniature world of the 5 elements revolving around it, constantly devouring the surrounding chaotic force and refining it into the essence of the 5 elements. Bam! Towering flames engulfed the primal chaos space in front of it. The humanoid battle avatar executed the 5 elements fist. Saint-tier power could destroy everything. Roar! A terrifying demonic shadow appeared behind the female demon emperor, and boundless demonic power surged out from the demonic mirror above her head. Demonic runes appeared on the surface of the demonic mirror, triggering the power of the great demonic saint. A demonic figure walked out from the demonic mirror and reached out his hand to take on the fiery fist of the humanoid battle puppet. Immediately, a destructive energy storm was set off in the land of chaos. This was the collision of fire elemental energy and demonic energy. There was nothing fancy about it, it was just a clash of strength. Rumble. The land of primal chaos was blasted into a pitch-black region by the mighty destructive power. It was like the primal chaos had opened up the sky. This was the most primitive void. This primordial void did not last for long before it was submerged by the chaotic chi that surged in from all directions. This part of the void turned into chaos once again. The demonic soul in the primordial demon mirror has awakened. Ji Fei was shocked. The supreme treasure of demonic path refined by the great demonic saint was definitely not simple. It contained a trace of the primordial heavenly demon's imprint. This was the soul of the primordial demon mirror. The humanoid battle puppet was sent flying thousands of meters away. The trace of Ji Fei's divine sense in the core of the humanoid battle puppet was almost shaken out. This made Ji Fei extremely shocked. Roar! The demonic shadow roared to the sky. It stepped on the primal chaos and chased after Ji Fei with huge strides. It was just like the real body of the great demonic saint from the ancient times. In the world created by the great sage of the ancient human race, Ji Fei and He Tian stood in front of the primal chaos, staring at a piece of divine crystal in front of them with incomparable nervousness. A piece of divine crystal was fixed in the void by someone's magic power. The mirror-like smooth surface of the divine crystal was flickering with divine light and images were flashing rapidly. "Boss, your humanoid battle puppet doesn't seem to be working." He Tian stared at the divine crystal and said. All of this was his doing. He used the divine crystal to show the battle in the primal chaos. Everything that the humanoid battle puppet saw would appear on the divine crystal, allowing Ji Fei and He Tian to see the situation of the battle in the first place. However, Ji Fei did not need to use this method to see the situation of the battle because he had a trace of divine sense in the humanoid battle puppet. There was a mysterious connection between the divine sense and the battle puppet's body. Everything about the humanoid battle puppet was under Ji Fei's control. Everything would be reflected in Ji Fei's mind in an instant. It was mysterious and unpredictable. It doesn't work. Ji Fei couldn't help but feel a little disdainful. This was the first time he used this humanoid battle puppet and it could already exert the power of a saint. If it was an ordinary person, they might not even be able to release a trace of the saint might of the battle puppet. At this time, in the primal chaos, the thousands of feet tall demonic figure had already arrived. Monstrous demonic might filled the primal chaos and even leaked out from the primal chaos origin. Ji Fei and He Tian could clearly feel this terrifying fluctuation. How powerful is a saint? Ji Fei's heart palpitated. Even the primal chaos chi could not block the aura of a saint. This was too shocking. It was hard to imagine what it would be like for such an existence to appear in the world. This is a god. He has already transcended the world and is almost omnipotent. He Tian said such words. A saint stood above all living beings, overlooking the world. He had already transcended the great Tao of heaven and earth and was known as a god. Ji Fei was shocked. A god was an extremely ancient and powerful term. A saint was comparable to a god. It was hard to imagine that a saint could stand shoulder to shoulder with an ancient god. Boom! In the primal chaos domain, Ji Fei's humanoid battle puppet collided with the thousands of feet tall demonic figure. The humanoid battle puppet was sent flying backward as if it was being suppressed. What should we do? This scene appeared on the divine crystal. He Tian was extremely nervous. If the humanoid battle puppet was defeated, that female demon emperor would definitely come back to kill him. The divine land opened up by the ancient great saint of the human race must not fall into the hands of the demons. And at this time, in the depths of this divine land, a mighty aura came out. Even from where Ji Fei and the others were, they could still see huge bolts of lightning striking down from the sky. Thunder rumbled, and the aura of destruction was vast and mighty. Yang was undergoing her tribulation, and it was already at a critical juncture. The divine medicine in the myriad medicine cauldron was also undergoing its tribulation, and it was also at a critical juncture. The terrifying might of heaven and earth caused the whole world to shake. What do you mean? Ji Fei's tone was calm as if he was not nervous at all. He was still as calm as usual. Although his humanoid battle puppet was at a disadvantage, he also knew that the female demon emperor would not be able to hold on for long. Chapter 1301. Amidst the chaos, The battle was still going on. Ji Fei's humanoid puppet of war seemed to be suppressed by the 1,000-feet-tall demonic shadow. It kept retreating and seemed to be at a disadvantage. Buzz. The premier demon mirror suspended above the female demon emperor's head was vibrating. The imprint of the great demonic saint contained in the mirror was activated. The endless power of the demonic path condensed into a 1,000-feet-tall demonic shadow. This was an afterimage of the great demonic saint of the demons who had dominated the untainted land in ancient times. Although it was only an afterimage, it was powerful enough to make even a sage pale. Bang! The fist force shook the heavens and the earth, colliding with the 1,000-feet-tall demonic shadow. The humanoid puppet of war displayed great combat power. It evolved the profound meaning of martial arts and retreated as it fought. After all, the humanoid puppet of war was a combat tool refined by the great sage of the human race. It contained the power of the great sage of the human race. Although the 1,000-feet-tall demonic shadow was powerful, it could not do anything to the humanoid puppet of war for a while. Hand over this puppet, and I will spare your life. The female demon emperor's divine thoughts spread out in the chaos. Her words were directly captured by a wisp of divine thoughts that Ji Fei had inserted into the heart core of the humanoid puppet of war. Humph. It's still not clear who will be spared. Ji Fei responded tit for tat. Although his humanoid puppet of war seemed to be suppressed, he still had many trump cards that he had not used. He was not in a hurry. He was waiting for an opportunity. The profound meaning of the 5 elements surged out from the fists of the humanoid puppet of war. It was as if there were 5 small worlds revolving around the humanoid puppet of war. Those were the 5 voids formed by the power of the 5 elements. With every punch, the small worlds around the humanoid puppet of war would be drawn to the fist of the humanoid puppet of war. The power of the 5 elements would instantly erupt the moment the humanoid puppet of war punched. It was as if a small world had exploded on the fist of the humanoid puppet of war. This was a terrible destructive power that was extremely powerful. The flawless 5 elements fist blocked the destructive demonic light of the premier demon mirror. This fist technique was too powerful and overbearing. It was the most direct eruption of power. Roar! The female demon emperor roared. She was a little anxious. She couldn't activate the primordial demon mirror for a long time. Otherwise, all of her essence chi would be devoured by the primordial demon mirror. Even without Ji Fei's humanoid puppet, this demon emperor would be finished. Moon falls from the sky. The female empress roared out. Suddenly, a black moon appeared above the head of that 10,000 feet tall demonic figure. That black moon was descending downwards. An extremely terrifying power spread out from the black moon, locking down the surroundings. As long as one was shone by the black light from the black moon, they would be frozen. Even the surrounding primal chaos stopped moving. The moment the retreating humanoid puppet was illuminated by the black moon, all of its movements came to a halt. Ji Fei couldn't help but be shocked. This, outside the primal chaos origin, Ji Fei's face paled when he sensed this scene. The opponent's Devil Dao phenomenon was too strange. It seemed to be the power of space-time. Ji Fei's divine sense transmitted an uneasy fluctuation. He pushed the puppet's power to the limit, wanting to break through the power shrouding him. But it seemed to be very difficult. The female demon emperor used the primordial demon mirror's power to display her own phenomenon. A black moon descended, pressing down on the humanoid puppet, causing it to emit strange sounds. This was simply too terrifying. This was simply a real black moon descending from the sky, pressing down on Ji Fei's humanoid puppet. Even the void trembled. Ji Fei's humanoid puppet struggled with all its might, but it still found it difficult to move. Refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. You can die now. The female demon emperor's voice resounded in Ji Fei's heart. Then, the black moon descended, emitting an endless aura of destruction, wanting to completely obliterate Ji Fei. Damn it! Ji Fei's humanoid puppet couldn't evade at all. Since it couldn't evade, it could only face it head-on. Ascend. Ji Fei's humanoid puppet used one of the 9 esoteric secrets of the immortal Tao, the Ascend secret art. As the immortal Tao art circulated, the countless Tao patterns on the humanoid puppet's body seemed to burn. An unimaginably powerful divine might spread out from the humanoid puppet, causing the entire primal chaos void to boil. Ji Fei's humanoid puppet's power soared to an unbelievable level. With a slight tremble, cracks appeared in the primal chaos domain. How is this possible? The female demon emperor turned pale with fright. The vast energy waves coming from the humanoid puppet were already infinitely close to the invincible realm of an extreme Tao saint. Die! The humanoid puppet roared out before throwing out a punch. A terrifying fist force surged forth, instantly dispersing the 10,000 jong tall demonic shadow. The fist force was like crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. Bam! The humanoid puppet punched out a second time. The force of the punch was so strong that it sent the demonic empress and the primordial demon mirror flying away. With just 2 punches, Ji Fei had turned the situation around, heavily injuring the female demon emperor. This was something that no one could have imagined. The Ascend secret art pushed the humanoid puppet's power to the limit. You can't even withstand a single blow. Ji Fei's humanoid puppet used the 8 desolate steps. In just a few steps, it had caught up to the female demon emperor and was about to punch out a third time. At that moment, Tao patterns of great Tao emerged on the female demon emperor's body. Her entire body seemed to be on fire. This was the demonic disintegration art. This art could be used to stimulate the potential of demons, allowing the great demons to save their own lives in a life-and-death situation. This was a life-saving art. At that moment, the female demon emperor instantly fused with the primordial demon mirror and turned into a black light, disappearing without a trace. This was simply faster than lightning. Preposterous. Ji Fei knew that even if he used the Ascend secret art and increased his strength by 10 times, it would still be difficult to intercept his opponent. In this primal chaos, it was impossible to see time. In the end, he didn't chase after the female demon emperor. Outside the primal chaos origin, Hei Tian couldn't help but jump up when he saw this scene from the divine crystal. If the female demon emperor escaped, then this divine land would have a new owner soon. That female demon emperor would definitely come back. After all, this was a treasure trove. No one would be willing to give it up. Everyone was coveting it. The humanoid puppet walked out of the primal chaos origin. Its powerful saint-tier aura had already been restrained. Otherwise, no one would be able to withstand it. At such a close distance, even a grand completion emperor wouldn't be able to straighten his back. The pressure of a saint-tier could collapse the world and shake the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It was high and mighty, overlooking the world. It was a godlike existence between heaven and earth. Rumble, in the depths of this divine land, there was a soul-shaking thunderous sound. The heavenly tribulation was still in the metal element, but it had reached the most tense point. At this time, there couldn't be any mistakes. Chapter 1302. The humanoid puppet of war was comparable to a sage and could compete with the sacred weapons refined by a great sage. With this weapon, Ji Fei could move unhindered between heaven and earth. With the humanoid puppet of war guarding the origin of chaos, Ji Fei was more at ease. Just the aura released by the humanoid puppet of war was enough to scare away most people. At this time, an even more powerful fluctuation came from the depths of this divine land. That place seemed to have turned into chaos. Even with the third eye, one could not see clearly. The terror of the heavenly tribulation of severing the way was absolutely unimaginable if one did not personally experience it. Yang Er had been holding on for more than an hour. She used all kinds of immortal techniques to resist the great tribulation of heaven and earth. She was no longer calm. Buzz. The black cauldron that Yang Er had conjured with her immortal technique was vibrating. The black cauldron floated above Yang Er's head, constantly swallowing the tribulation lightning from the tribulation clouds. The entire black cauldron was submerged in the terrible tribulation lightning. It could be destroyed at any time. At this time, in another place thousands of miles away, there was also a destructive aura that made all living beings tremble. A real black cauldron floated high in the sky, surrounded by tribulation clouds. This was the primal chaos lightning tribulation. This part of the void had turned into primal chaos. Terrifying bolts of primal chaos tribulation lightning swam in this part of the void. The power of chaos destroyed everything. Nothing could be preserved. Except for the black ancient cauldron, there was nothing left in this chaos. The chaos thunder tribulation had already wrapped around the black cauldron, wanting to obliterate it. The terrible chaotic lightning swam over the black cauldron. Divine runes of the great path appeared on the black cauldron, blocking the power of destruction. The divine tool refined by a great sage of the human race had been tempered thousands of times. It was branded with the mark of the great path comprehended by the great sage of the human race. It was the carrier of the great path and existed together with the great path. Bursts of medicinal fragrance wafted out of the black cauldron. Chaotic lightning constantly entered the black cauldron. What the heavenly tribulation brought was not only destruction, but also the divine medicine absorbed the fragments of the great path in the chaotic lightning. This divine medicine was definitely the most precious divine medicine in the world. It contained fragments of the great path that could help people comprehend the great path. All cultivators below the sage level would fight to the death for it. The myriad medicine cosmos cauldron shook and strange noises came from within. Sometimes it was as if there was wind and thunder, other times it was as if there were raging waves, and sometimes there were even the cries of dragons and cries of phoenixes. Under the tempering of the chaotic thunder tribulation, the divine medicine in the cauldron of medicine universe was taking shape. It contained fragments of the great path, and the medicinal fragrance gradually became stronger. Unknowingly, 6 hours passed. Yang encountered great danger. The power of the heavenly tribulation shattered the black cauldron she condensed with her supreme immortal power. Without the black cauldron's obstruction, a sea of lightning descended from the sky and engulfed Yang in an instant. This was tribulation lightning, and it represented the power of heaven and earth. It was difficult to resist, and if one wanted to truly sever one's Tao, one had to undergo tribulation lightning. Only then could one obtain the acknowledgement of heaven and earth. Yang kept roaring in the sea of lightning. She displayed the powerful cultivation and strength of severing the way. 9 beams of immortal light circled around her, blocking all the lightning around her. But this could not last long. Yang power of the immortal path was constantly being consumed by the tribulation lightning. Fortunately, she had countless divine pills and divine medicines on her. Every time Yang felt that she could not hold on any longer, she would take out a bottle of divine medicine and pour it into her mouth. She refined the spirit power contained in the divine medicine to replenish her consumed vitality. Yang sat cross-legged in the void and began to evolve her Tao. The power of the great path surged from her body, and blurry patterns of the great path emerged from her body and branded into the void outside of her body. Thousands of tribulation lightning roared, and the terrible lightning emitted a terrifying aura of destruction. It tore through the void and streaked past her body. She seemed to feel nothing at all. Using the brand of the great path to seal herself in the void, Yang seemed to have jumped out of the 3 realms and was no longer in the 5 elements. It seemed that even the heavenly tribulation could not sense her existence. Countless lightning raged around Yang body, but it just could not hit her. Yang was temporarily not in any danger. The power of the heavenly tribulation was wreaking havoc, releasing and venting, but the tribulation clouds were almost pressing down on the ground, and even more terrifying power was condensing. At this time, Yang already knew that although she had made all kinds of preparations in advance, when faced with the heavenly tribulation, she found that the situation was completely different from what she had imagined. You could only rely on yourself to pass the heavenly tribulation. You could only use your own power of the great path to resist the heavenly tribulation. Jiu Fei and He Tian watched from afar, but the tribulation clouds had enveloped a part of the world, and the heaven-earth Yuan Qi in that part of the world had become extremely chaotic. Now, even if the divine diviner of the heaven's secrets gate came in person, he would not be able to divine the situation inside. Jiu Fei opened his martial Tao heavenly eye, but it was also difficult for him to see through the void in front of him. He could only capture some blurry images. There was a power that completely separated that place from the outside world. He Tian was the same. His yin-yang divine eye could not see inside either. Wang. Suddenly, a deafening sound came from afar. An extremely powerful demon sword, exuding a monstrous killing intent, directly slashed out from the primal chaos origin. The tip of the sword was pointed at the humanoid battle puppet sitting cross-legged in front of the primal chaos origin. It came back so quickly. Ji Yufei and He Tian were shocked. The female demons had just been driven away. Could it be that the female demons, the demon emperor, was really so reckless that she came back to kill them? This did not seem impossible. Swish. The humanoid battle puppet stretched out its right hand and pointed at the demon sword that had shot out from the primal chaos, sending it flying away. You do have some skill. A powerful divine sense spread out from the primal chaos origin. Then, a burly, black-robed, middle-aged man walked out of the primal chaos origin, surrounded by demonic aura. Rumble. The moment this demon walked out, the whole world was shaken by the powerful aura emanating from his body. It was as if this world could not contain him at all. This, Ji Yufei looked in the direction of the demon aura. He was shocked. Someone else from the demons had come. Moreover, this person was incomparably powerful. He was even more powerful than the female demon emperor. Without any unnecessary words, Ji Yufei's humanoid battle puppet made its move. Boom. The humanoid battle puppet punched out. 5 heavens and earth voids emerged on its fist. The power of 5 elements surged out and rushed towards the demon. That person smashed the humanoid battle puppet's punch with a wave of his hand. His combat strength was so strong that it shocked Ji Yufei. Could it be that this person was actually a semi-sage? The humanoid battle puppet was comparable to a sage. Even if a semi-sage came, it would not be so easy to resolve the full force of the humanoid battle puppet's punch. Unless this demon carried a sacred weapon of diabolism. The battle puppet of the human race's medical sage? The demon's blood-red eyes flickered. The battle puppet refined by a great sage of the human race was no trivial matter. Otherwise, the female demon emperor would not have been defeated by Ji Yufei. Clang. A series of sword shadows condensed around the humanoid battle puppet. Each sword shadow was emitting a heart-palpitating aura and sword chi fluctuation. Kill. The humanoid battle puppet pointed with its sword finger. Thousands of sword shadows suddenly lit up. As if they had turned into real divine swords, they all pierced towards the demon in front. The overwhelming sword light illuminated the whole world. The monstrous sword chi surged. The temperature of the world dropped rapidly under the impact of the cold sword chi. The way of the immortal sword? It's just superficial knowledge. It can't even withstand a single blow. The demon was very powerful. A demon hand rushed out from the back of his head. The pitch-black demon hand instantly shrouded the whole world and grabbed forward. Thousands of sword lights were caught by this demon hand and then obliterated. This was a shocking and horrifying scene. It was really hard to imagine. Bam! Ji Yufei's humanoid battle puppet was directly sent flying by the demon hand. Ji Yufei, who was on a spiritual peak hundreds of miles away, sensed all this. He did not say anything. He directly took out the 9th Heaven Star's sword and then smashed it towards the humanoid battle puppet. Swish! The 9th Heaven Star's sword turned into a black light. In an instant, it crossed the distance of hundreds of miles and flew to the front of the humanoid battle puppet. The humanoid battle puppet grabbed the sword in its hand. The demon looked in the direction of Ji Yufei. A sharp light flashed in his demonic eyes. Even Ji Yufei, who was hundreds of miles away, felt a chill run down his spine. This person is too terrifying. I'm afraid he is not an ordinary demonic path semi-sage. He Tian was also shocked by the battle strength displayed by this demon. One should know that the humanoid battle puppet was an existence that could even defeat the female demon's demon emperor. Now, in front of this demon, the humanoid battle puppet actually showed signs of being completely suppressed. This was not a good thing. This made Ji Yufei and He Tian feel uneasy. Of course, Ji Yufei was not afraid of this demon because he had mastered 3 great extreme path sacred weapons. This person can't be the demon's expert invited by the female demon emperor, right? Ji Yufei said. In a few hours, the female demon emperor had enough time to invite the demon's expert. It doesn't matter who she invited. This place is ours. If we can't get it, we will destroy this place. He Tian stared at the demon figure hundreds of miles away and said while gritting his teeth, "This piece of divine land must not fall into the hands of the demons. Even if he had to destroy this piece of divine land, he must not let the demons get it." Buzz. The humanoid battle puppet shook the ninth heaven star's sword in its hand and directly slashed at the demon. It was a simple and direct slash, but it contained great power. The sword was pitch black, the sword light was not obvious, and the sword chi was restrained. There was no dazzling divine light, and there was no terrible fluctuation. However, the whole world was shaken by this slash. Martial Path Battle Technique. Chapter 1303. Jiu Fei's humanoid puppet slash was simple and direct. There was nothing fancy about it, but this slash shook the world and split the void. That devil could no longer maintain his composure. This was the ancient martial path. A slash could split the world, displaying a terrifying power. Swish. The devil didn't take this attack head-on. He left behind an afterimage and instantly dodged. The power of the nine heaven stars' sword turned the place he was standing into primal chaos. Buzz. The nine heaven stars' sword shook. The humanoid puppet had already locked onto the devil's aura. It immediately changed its attack from a vertical slash to a horizontal sweep. The divine sword had no edge, but at this moment, it could cut through the void. That devil had only just appeared in the void when the humanoid puppet's sword slashed down. Although the attack wasn't very fast, it made the devil feel like it was hard to dodge. This was the profundities of the ancient martial path. It was simple, direct, and effective. It was an offensive battle skill that had been tempered hundreds and thousands of times. It wasn't inferior to any grand arts. Good. The devil couldn't help cheering. His opponent's sword was as smooth as flowing water. It was extremely powerful. Even a saint weapon expert wouldn't be a match for it. Swish. The demonic light suddenly appeared, and the space around the devil cultivator distorted. His body seemed to have turned into a demonic wind, and the nine heaven stars slashed across his body, actually splitting him into two halves at the waist. This, Jiu Fei's expression changed. He wasn't happy at all. Instead, his expression became even graver. He felt as if his humanoid puppet's attack had struck thin air. The devil's body seemed to have turned into a wisp of smoke. Although it was cut in two by the nine heaven stars' sword, it reformed in the blink of an eye. This level of attack isn't enough to injure me. The devil was very confident. His devil body condensed into a solid form once more. The aura of the devil path spread out from his body, causing Jiu Fei to feel a great pressure. This fellow is, on a mountain peak several hundred miles away. He Tian couldn't help but be moved when he saw this scene. He seemed to have recognized the origin of this devil, and a light flashed in his eyes. "What did you see?" Jiu Fei asked. This demon was ridiculously powerful. He was definitely not an ordinary person. Even among the demons, such a person was definitely a top-notch existence. Ancient wind demon? Although He Tian said this, he wasn't very sure. After all, this wasn't the untainted world anymore. Whether or not the ancient wind devil could survive the great turmoil of the late untainted world was a problem. In ancient times, the righteous sect had the wind god, while the demons had the wind devil. The wind god was the great sage of the human race, while the wind devil was the great sage of the demons. Even if this devil cultivator wasn't the wind devil, he was related to it. At this time, the devil cultivator attacked the humanoid war doll. Rumble. The whole world was shaking as if it would collapse at any time. All the living beings in the world were trembling. A wave of demonic power spread in all directions. The pitch-black demon hand smashed the void of heaven and earth, displaying a great demonic power. It slapped towards Jiu Fei's humanoid war doll, wanting to smash this battle tool into pieces. On the demon hand, there were indistinct divine runes of the demonic path, drawing the power of the great Tao, giving people a feeling that it was difficult to resist. This made Jiu Fei secretly shocked. This was a half-saint demons. It could condense the power of the great Tao between heaven and earth, displaying the battle power of the saint realm. With just one step, this half-saint demons could become a demonic saint. Buzz. The humanoid war doll shook the divine sword and stabbed upwards. Although it was the simplest sword move, it displayed unbelievable power. Swish. The pitch-black demon hand was penetrated. Even if it drew the power of the great Tao between heaven and earth, it wouldn't work. One had to know that the humanoid war doll was a powerful existence equivalent to a saint. Ji Yufei's sword move was simple, but it was such a simple sword move that could endlessly fight against the Devil Cultivator. The Devil Cultivator didn't dare to take the 9 Heaven Stars sword head-on. The power of the Saint Realm spread out. The region where the primal chaos origin was located was in a huge turmoil. The spiritual mountains collapsed, and the earth cracked. It was as if doomsday had arrived. No one knew how many spiritual herbs were destroyed. This divine land was originally a place established by the great saint of the ancient human race to cultivate divine herbs. This place was filled with spiritual herbs, and there were even herb kings among them. The black demonic aura enveloped the heaven and earth. Ji Yufei's humanoid war doll constantly scattered the demonic aura that the Devil Cultivator condensed. Everywhere the 9 Heaven Stars sword went, everything was directly destroyed. However, that Devil Cultivator was too strange. His devil body could freely change between the illusory and the real. This kind of Devil Dao ability seemed to be similar to the ability of the ancient wind god. Could this Devil Cultivator really be the Wind Devil? Ji Yufei felt a trace of unease. This level of attack was really unable to do anything to the opponent. He couldn't kill the opponent, but the opponent could pose a great threat to him. Under such circumstances, Ji Yufei felt that he could only be defeated. I am already in an invincible position. What qualifications do you have to fight against me? The Devil Cultivator spoke with contempt. He seemed to have turned into the incarnation of the wind, moving quickly in the void. The humanoid war doll used the 8 desolation steps and displayed the 8 extremities to fight against the Devil Cultivator. Roar. The humanoid war doll roared. The 9 Heaven Stars sword in its hand turned into a destructive light that destroyed the layers of demonic aura. However, it couldn't truly injure the Devil Cultivator. Damn it. The Devil Cultivator's body seemed to be a real demonic wind that couldn't be affected at all. Ji Yufei's humanoid war doll used all sorts of martial arts, but it could only temporarily scatter the Devil Cultivator's devil body. The Devil Cultivator's devil body quickly reformed after being smashed by Ji Yufei's fist. It was as if he had an undying body. This can't go on, said He Tian. Ji Yufei didn't say anything. He stood on the mountain peak and stared coldly ahead. With the protection of the violet gold divine sword, they didn't fear the pressure of a saint. At this time, in the depths of this divine land, Yang and the cauldron's heavenly tribulation had reached a critical juncture. They absolutely couldn't be disturbed. There's no other way. I can only fight. Ji Yufei sat cross-legged on the mountain peak and immediately used one of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, the divine seizing secret art. A violet divine light appeared on his forehead, and the power of his nascent spirit surged out. Swish. A violet eye seemed to open on Ji Yufei's forehead. A figure walked out of his Niwen palace. This tiny figure was Ji Yufei's nascent spirit. The aura of the immortal Tao revolved around this tiny figure. It was like an immortal from the 9 heavens, otherworldly and otherworldly. It was very different from Ji Yufei's own temperament. After Ji Yufei's primordial spirit walked out of the Mudpill Palace, it turned into a ray of divine light and instantly traversed hundreds of miles, entering the humanoid puppet. This is. The Devil Cultivator glanced at where Ji Yufei and He Tian were. Although Ji Yufei's nascent spirit was extremely fast, it was still caught by the Devil Cultivator. Boom. Ji Yufei's nascent spirit entered the humanoid war doll, causing it to shine with dazzling light. An aura so powerful that it could change the color of heaven and earth erupted from the doll. It was like a slumbering saint had awakened from his slumber. Countless divine runes of the great Tao appeared as the doll's appearance changed. Soon, a young cultivator appeared in front of the Devil Cultivator. The humanoid war doll had taken on Ji Yufei's appearance. Interesting. The Devil Cultivator smiled. He seemed to be playing around with Ji Yufei and didn't care about Ji Yufei's humanoid war doll at all. Rumble. The 5 elements revolved around Ji Fei's clone. Immortal Tao energy surged as Saint runes appeared on his body, interweaving into profound patterns and condensing Tao energy. Clang. The sound of metal clanging rang out around Ji Fei's clone. Each of the 5 elements gave birth to a divine sword. Then, he brought a fire-wreathed divine sword in front of him and slashed at the devil cultivator. As soon as the fire elemental sword appeared, the divine fire that covered the sky and the earth immediately drowned the demon dweller. The sky and the void were burned and twisted by the condensed power of fire. 5-element sword. The devil cultivator's voice came from within the divine fire. He wasn't killed by the divine fire. The fire was being extinguished from within. The clanging sounds continued as the 5-element sword was activated by Ji Fei. It released a terrifying 5-element sword chi that turned into 5 rays of light. These 5 rays of light contained the power of the great Tao. Each one could kill a half-step saint. But in front of the devil cultivator, these rays of light were nothing. The devil cultivator laughed and charged forward. His sleeves fluttered, and when the 5 rays of light slashed at him, they were all repelled by a force. What? Ji Fei and He Tian couldn't help being dumbfounded when they saw this scene from a distant mountain peak. This was too frightening. It had to be known that this was a saint-ranked attack. The 5 rays of light contained the power of the great Tao. This was the terrifying power of a saint. Even a saint would have a headache when facing it. How could it be so easily neutralized? Could it be that this guy was really a great devil from ancient times? How can there be such an existence in today's world? He Tian frowned. This devil cultivator was so powerful that he couldn't believe it. Saint-level existences had long been extinct. There were no more saints in today's world. How could the demons be an exception? This was absolutely impossible. There seemed to be something fishy about this. Ji Fei and He Tian felt that something was wrong, but they couldn't pinpoint what it was. This made them feel uneasy. Chapter 1304. Another great demon has arrived. Ji Fei and He Tian, who were hundreds of miles away, sensed the terrifying demonic aura. Their expressions changed drastically. This demon wasn't someone they could deal with. A terrifying demonic figure passed through the chaotic origin and entered the sacred land. It was a white-haired old man in black robes. At first glance, he looked like a human with a ruddy face. However, the old man's eyes were as black as ink. The old man's eyes had no pupils. There was nothing but darkness. His eyes seemed like a bottomless devil's hole. Anyone who looked into them would feel as though their soul would be sucked away. This was a pair of terrifying demonic eyes. Primordial old ghost, the demon fighting with Ji Fei's clone, was surprised to see this old man. He had never imagined that this old man would appear here. Could this old man be a primordial sky demon? Ji Fei and He Tian were both taken aback. How could these great ancient devils, who had disappeared long ago, still be alive? Even if he was alive, it was impossible for him to appear here. In today's great era, saint-grade existences were already extinct. These supreme existences that had once dominated the ancient times were now regarded as legendary gods and remembered by future generations. Even a crazy old man like you managed to survive. No, you're not that crazy old man. You're just one of his clones. The old man's demonic eyes stared at the demon as he spoke. Boom. At this moment, the demon's demonic power suddenly erupted and knocked away the 5 elements sword lights that were circling around him. Then, he struck out with his palm and sent Ji Fei's clone flying thousands of meters away. The void of the 5 elements around the doppelganger was destroyed. Too strong. Ji Fei and He Tian were dumbfounded. This demon's cultivation was too strong. Moreover, this was just a clone. After the demon sent Ji Fei's battle avatar flying, he turned to look at the old man with a bloody glint in his blood-colored eyes. Old ghost of primordial beginning, you're not any better. Aren't you just an incarnation? Even though it was just an incarnation, it was imprinted with the spirit imprint of the main body. Thus, its words and actions were no different from the main body. Wind Devil, I didn't expect you to also leave behind an embodiment. The primordial heavenly devil's embodiment said, He did not seem to be on the same side as the devil cultivator. Humph. I will return to this world sooner or later, Wind Devil's incarnation said coldly. Not everyone knew about such a great secret of the world. Jiu Fei and Hei Tian were horrified to hear the information from Wind Demon's words. He would return sooner or later. What was the meaning of this? Could it be that the supreme demons of the ancient times had not fallen? If that was really the case, the return of these ancient great demons would probably put all the living beings in the heaven realm in danger. Jiu Fei only thought about it for a moment before he broke out in a cold sweat. I sense the aura of the extreme path sacred weapon. The primordial heavenly devil's incarnation turned around and looked towards the depths of the divine land. Black devil chi lingered in his pitch-black eyes. Hearing this, the ancient wind devil's 2 eyebrows immediately raised. Then, he glared and said, "Don't even think about taking this place. Everything here is mine." Ancient Wind Devil was a little nervous. It should be known that this primordial heavenly devil was not a kind person. The primordial demonic mirror had killed countless experts. Humph. Witnesses have a share. The primordial heavenly devil's incarnation sneered. Since he had entered the treasure mountain, how could he return empty-handed? Then, you want me to go against you? The ancient wind devil's incarnation's voice became cold. Devil chi lingered around his body and his body emitted a terrifying murderous aura. The primordial heavenly devil's incarnation also emitted a biting cold murderous aura. Very well, then bring it on. The ancient wind devil's incarnation took a step forward and then transformed into a primordial demonic hand, grabbing directly at the primordial heavenly devil's incarnation. Buzz. The void shook and a simple and unadorned mirror appeared above the primordial heavenly devil's incarnation. Then, it emitted a dazzling demonic light and shone towards the demonic hand. Terrifying energy waves swept in all directions. Under the illumination of the primordial demonic mirror, the big hand collapsed. At this moment, the wind devil had already turned into a demonic light and rushed towards the primordial heavenly devil's incarnation. The primordial heavenly devil must have met the Diabolism Empress who had been defeated by Jiu Fei's war avatar doppelganger and banished from this divine land. Otherwise, how could the primordial demonic mirror fall into the hands of the primordial heavenly devil's incarnation? Without any unnecessary words, the 2 super experts began to fight. At this moment, Jiu Fei's war avatar doppelganger hid far away. In the hands of the primordial heavenly devil, the primordial demonic mirror emitted a terrifying holy power. Rays of dark light shattered the void and clashed with the wind devil. They were just 2 incarnations, but they were so powerful that it could be said to be abnormal. The ground was sinking and the void was being destroyed. They were simply 2 demons of destruction. Old wind, if you don't use your holy weapon now, you won't have the chance to. The primordial heavenly devil's old voice echoed in the sky. He controlled the primordial demonic mirror and used all kinds of killing techniques, gradually gaining the upper hand. Turn into the wind, invisible and traceless. Ancient Wind Devil let out a roar and his entire body immediately turned incorporeal. Even the demonic aura emanating from his body was quickly dispersing. However, in just a moment, the demonic body of the Wind Devil and even the demonic chi on his body became transparent. In the end, he completely merged with the surrounding void. What? The primordial heavenly devil was shocked that the wind devil disappeared. Even Jiu Fei and Hei Tian were stunned to see this scene. How did he do it? Unbelievable. Swoosh. Wind devil, who had disappeared, instantly appeared behind primordial heavenly demon. He then struck out with his palm, sending primordial heavenly demon flying. The primordial demon mirror floating above his head was also sent flying. This was a battle between saints. No one could remain calm after sensing the existence of the extreme path sacred weapon. The primordial heavenly devil and the ancient wind devil both wanted everything here. The arrival of the 2 demons made Jiu Fei and Hei Tian feel great pressure. Even their war avatar doppelganger could not compete with these existences. Of course, this had a lot to do with their cultivation. With Jiu Fei's current cultivation, he could at most activate 50% of the war avatar's power. If he could successfully cut the way, he might be able to completely activate the power of the war avatar. At that time, the power he could activate would be even stronger. Chapter 1305. If only I had my weapon in hand. Wind Demon was too aggrieved. His devil weapon was lost in ancient times. If he had the devil weapon in hand, he wouldn't let this old guy be so presumptuous in front of him. Buzz. At this moment, the devil mirror above Primordial Sky Demon's head made a vibration, and a vast and horrifying wave spread out from the devil mirror. Me. You're on your own. Suddenly, Wind Demon sneered and retreated far away. What? At this time, Primordial Sky Demon also seemed to feel something was wrong. He suddenly turned around and saw a blurry figure almost sticking to his body. Even though he was so close, Primordial Sky Demon still couldn't see this person clearly. This person appeared too suddenly, like looking at flowers in the fog, giving people a feeling of unreality. Swish. Primordial Sky Demon didn't even think about it and directly retreated, but that figure made a move. Poof. An arm directly inserted between Primordial Sky Demon's chest and abdomen, and then that person shook his arm. Bang. Primordial Sky Demon's body immediately exploded. Buzz. The Primordial Devil Mirror shook, and the Great Tao Devil patterns intertwined on the Devil Mirror. The mighty power of destruction shattered the void of heaven and earth, wanting to completely obliterate this mysterious person below. Bang! That mysterious person just stretched out a palm and pressed upwards, and the mighty power of destruction from the Primordial Devil Mirror was immediately dispersed. The Primordial Devil Mirror was directly knocked away. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned by the combat power displayed by the mysterious person. It was incredible that he could fight against the devil weapon of the ancient great saint of Devil Tao with his bare hand. Although that Primordial Sky Demon was just an incarnation, it also had a powerful strength infinitely close to the saint tier. Even Wind Demon was frightened when his devil body was blown up like this. Wow, who are you? Primordial Sky Demon reassembled his devil body and appeared in the distant sky. The Primordial Devil Mirror flew over and suspended above his head. It poured down a devil light and protected him in it. The other party destroyed his devil body with one move. Was this guy actually an invincible martial artist? Under the heavens and on the earth, only the invincible martial artists could fight a saint weapon with their bare hands. Primordial Demon roared again and again. He was shocked and angry. Every time his devil body was destroyed, his strength would fall. At this time, although he had reconstructed his devil body, his strength was only about 80% of his original strength. If he was slashed more than a dozen times, his demonic body would be completely finished. Hundreds of kilometers away, Jiu Fei was standing on a mountain peak. He was shocked to the extreme, because this mysterious person was the incarnation of the ancient wind god that had helped Jiu Fei reach foundation establishment. Why is he here? When Jiu Fei saw that it was the incarnation of the ancient wind god, he was completely stunned. That day in the Nine Heavens hidden dragon grounds, the incarnation of the ancient wind god had displayed a supreme mystic ability to compete with the true dragon. Even the legendary true dragon was no match for him. If he wanted to escape, then didn't this guy chase after the true dragon? When He Tian saw this mysterious person, he was also incomparably shocked. That day when he went deep into the hidden dragonland, he had once seen the incarnation of the ancient wind god. No one knew why the incarnation of the ancient wind god suddenly appeared here. This guy, even the incarnation of the wind demon, was shocked. The battle strength displayed by this mysterious person was probably the true battle strength of the saint level. Otherwise, how could he slash the incarnation of the primordial demon? The incarnation of the primordial demon was extremely powerful. If it was in the ancient times, an incarnation could fight against a saint. Even after countless years, the current world was not like the ancient times. The incarnation of the primordial demon was weakened, but it still had the strength infinitely close to the saint level. Such an existence could kill half a saint and compete with the most powerful existence in this world. But now, his devil body was slashed by this mysterious person in one move. Even the incarnation of the ancient great devil saint could not have an immortal body. If it was slashed once, its strength would be weakened. If it was slashed more than a dozen times, The result would be its soul flying away and scattering. Who the hell are you? The primordial demon was both shocked and infuriated. The opponent's battle strength was too frightening. He had actually been able to get behind him without him noticing. The incarnation of the ancient wind god didn't say anything. Its figure was faint and illusory, as if it could dissipate at any moment. There were no energy fluctuations coming from it, nor was there any powerful aura coming from it. However, that figure just stood there quietly in the void, giving off an insurmountable feeling and an incomparably powerful sense of oppression. The ancient wind god's incarnation swiped at the origin of the primal chaos behind him. The original land of primal chaos was actually erased from the void just like that. What? Everyone was shocked. The ancient wind god's incarnation had actually erased the original land of primal chaos that was connected to the outside world. The passage between this world and the outside world had been closed by the ancient wind god. Damn, we can't get out. We're going to be trapped here until we die. Hei Tian was dumbfounded. Did the opponent want to trap everyone in this world? Chimph, look at you. Is there any place in this world that can trap us? Jiyu Fei glanced at Mahakala and said. He controlled the three great worlds and could enter the hell path, and then exit the hell path to the outside world. Of course, this method was very troublesome. Jiyu Fei had never used it before. It had to be known that he had only refined the origin of the Hell Dao. He hadn't refined the Hell Dao into his body. Although he could enter the Hell Dao through the origin of the Hell Dao, he could only come out from the exit of the Hell Dao. That exit was in the mortal realm. That way, Jiyu Fei would return to the mortal realm. Jiyu Fei had long since thought of this method, but he didn't want to try it. If he left the heaven realm, he might not be able to come back again. He still hadn't finished his business in the heaven realm. He didn't want to return just like this. Boss, do you want to? Hei Tian also thought of a possibility at this time. But this method couldn't be used unless it was absolutely necessary. Do you want to trap us here until we die? Primordial Heavenly Devil and Wind Devil were both shocked and furious. The opponent had closed the only passage to the outside world. His goal couldn't be any more obvious. He wanted to keep them here. How outrageous. Primordial Heavenly Devil and Wind Devil felt that the opponent wasn't even putting them in his eyes. Chapter 1306. The ancient wind god was very straightforward. He directly closed the only passage between this world and the outside world, which surprised everyone and made them somewhat at a loss. This world was refined by the great saints of the ancient human clan. It was extremely stable and difficult to destroy. However, even if one could break through this world, it would not necessarily be able to go to the outside world. Outside the world was the land of chaos. In the chaos, there was no time and direction. It was an absolute state of chaos before the world was formed. It was the most easy to get lost inside. Once lost inside, unless one was an existence like the extreme saint, as long as one was lost in the chaos, they would never be able to come out again. The vague figure did not speak and directly attacked the primeval sky demon and the wind demon. Although the illusory body did not emit any fluctuations, it gave people the feeling that there were hundreds of thousands of ancient divine mountains moving, almost suffocating everyone. The primeval sky demon sneered, and then directly activated the primeval demon mirror that was suspended above his head. On the demon mirror, the great Dao demon pattern appeared, and the power of the Dao interweaved. Buzz! The primeval demon mirror trembled, and an extremely powerful force spread out from the demon mirror. A black light broke through the void, illuminated the world, and swept towards the ancient wind god incarnation. This was the power of the saint-level demon path. It triggered the power of the great Dao, and it could destroy everything. The primeval demon mirror was almost completely awakened, showing a terrible power. Bang! The illusory figure only blasted out a punch, and it dispersed the terrible destructive demonic light that shot out from the primeval demon mirror. What? The primeval sky demon was really shocked. The opponent was extremely powerful. It should be known that the primeval demon mirror was a great saint-level sacred weapon that he had refined. This blow had the powerful power of the saint level. Even an ordinary saint would be shocked under this blow from the primeval demon mirror, but the opponent broke this blow so easily. This guy is too fierce. He Tian couldn't help being shocked. This was the highest profundity of the martial path, the fist to break all divine abilities. No matter how powerful your divine abilities were, no matter how boundless your magic power was, I only needed a single fist to break them. The supreme profound meaning of martial arts. When Ji Yufei saw the wind god's punch, his eyes lit up. This was the simplest and most direct punch. It looked like a casual punch, but it contained an invincible might. The primordial god of wind used the wind god steps and arrived in front of the primordial demon like a gust of wind. Then, he threw another punch. The void was silently annihilated under his fist. There were no energy fluctuations, but it had shattered the void of heaven and earth. This kind of power was really too terrifying. Bam! Without any suspense, the primordial demon was blasted away. If it wasn't for the protection of the primordial demon mirror, he would have been killed by the ancient wind god again. What are you waiting for? The primordial demon roared. His opponent was too strong. Even with the primordial demon mirror in hand, he was still suppressed. This was an ancient invincible battle skill. When used by the ancient wind god, its power was even more terrifying. Wind demon was shocked and furious. He wanted to attack, but the other party was so strong that even primordial demon was no match for him. If he went up, he would probably end up the same way. Boom! Wind demon punched the void in front of him. The violent power directly penetrated the void of heaven and earth. He wanted to use the magical power of the demons to reopen the passage to the outside world. However, not everyone had the ability to do so. Although the void was shattered, it was restored by the power of heaven and earth in this world. It was very difficult to reappear at the origin of chaos. Old wind, if you want to go out, you have to kill this guy. The primordial demon rushed over from afar. The primordial demon mirror was floating above his head, emitting a terrifying saint-tier aura. The demonic mirror was like a black sun, suppressing the world so much that the void was trembling. This is the only way. Wind demon had to accept the reality. Only by practicing with the primordial demon could they have a chance of survival. Otherwise, they would be killed here. Roar. Wind devil let out a furious roar and charged at the ancient wind god with all his might. His devil body turned into an earth-shattering gust of devil wind that swept towards the ancient wind god. The ancient wind god did not dodge. He did not care to dodge at all. He let the demonic wind that could tear the void blow, but he was as still as a mountain, walking in the black wind. With every step he took, a line of the great path emerged under the feet of the ancient wind god. The monstrous black wind engulfed the ancient wind god in an instant, and a terrifying demonic aura spread in all directions. Even Ji Yufei and He Tian were affected, and had no choice but to retreat far away. The mountains within a radius of hundreds of miles were uprooted from the ground and crushed by the black wind. Wind demon hid in the black wind and attacked the ancient wind god. Rays of demonic light, like the killing light of the great path, shot out from the black wind and penetrated the ancient wind god from all directions. The ancient wind god pointed a finger. A mass of divine light spread out from the tip of his finger. Wherever the divine light passed, the black wind dissipated immediately. All the demonic light that penetrated the ancient wind god collapsed. It was just a finger, but it caused the void within a radius of hundreds of miles to collapse, forming terrifying black spatial cracks. The black wind that shrouded the entire heaven and earth disappeared. The incarnation of the ancient demon's great sage wind demon was also hit out from the void. Too strong. Ji Yufei and He Tian were dumbfounded when they saw this unbelievable scene. In front of the incarnation of the ancient wind god, these two demons were as fragile as newborn babies. Ah! Wind demon spat out a mouthful of blood. Cracks appeared on his demonic body. He was like a porcelain that had been cracked and could shatter at any time. It's the void fragmentation finger. You're the wind god of the wind god sect. Wind demon recognized the martial skill of the incarnation of the ancient wind god. He was utterly shocked. In the ancient times, the wind god sect had only appeared for a short period of time. However, The wind god who founded the wind god sect had a great background. Some people said that the wind god was the son of a supreme martial progenitor. His martial skills were personally taught by the supreme martial progenitor, thus he had unlimited potential and was expected to become the second martial progenitor. However, when the wind god's reputation reached its peak, the wind god sect disappeared from the ancient times overnight. No one knew where the wind god sect had moved to. Since then, the people of the wind god sect had completely disappeared from the primordial world. The disappearance of the wind god sect caused a great disturbance in the primordial world. It even triggered a terrifying war between the demons and the humans. Chapter 1307. The ancient divine wind sect had dominated the untainted land for nearly 1,000 years because the founder of the divine wind sect was a great sage of the human race. This great sage had a terrifying background. No one dared to provoke the divine wind sect even in the untainted land where experts were as numerous as trees in a forest. The disappearance of the divine wind sect was still a secret. There were many ancient books in the world, but there were no records of this. No one knew what had happened in the past. Now that the void fragmentation finger had appeared, this mysterious person was probably the incarnation of the ancient divine wind sect. After guessing the identity of the other party, primordial heavenly devil and wind devil were shocked to the extreme. The divine wind sect was a supreme existence like a god even in the ancient times. Although they were both great sage, primordial heavenly devil and wind devil knew their limits. Even in the ancient times, their true bodies were definitely not a match for the divine wind sect. The divine wind sect was the king of the great sage realm. The incarnation of the ancient divine wind sect broke wind devil's dreadful divine ability with one finger, dispersing the endless devil wind and almost causing wind devil's devil body to collapse. Too strong. What should we do? Primordial heavenly devil and wind devil looked at each other. They both felt a great threat. Although this divine wind sect was also an incarnation, it seemed to be able to display the power of a great sage realm expert. The incarnation of a great sage king was too powerful and terrifying. Jiu Fei and He Tian saw this scene from afar and couldn't help but be surprised and happy. The incarnation of the ancient divine wind sect could suppress the incarnations of primordial heavenly devil and wind devil. Moreover, the only passage connecting this world to the outside world was erased by the incarnation of the ancient divine wind sect. It was obvious that the incarnation of the ancient divine wind sect wanted to keep these two incarnations of the great sage demons here. Bang! At this time, the incarnation of the ancient divine wind sect attacked again. An illusory big hand instantly shrouded the whole world and grabbed towards primordial heavenly devil and wind devil. There wasn't any energy fluctuation coming from the hand, but the hand had confined the entire world, shrouding both the primordial heavenly demon and wind demon. What? Primordial heavenly devil and wind devil were shocked. Buzz. The primordial demon mirror, which was floating above primordial demon's head, was vibrating. Endless demonic light shot out from the mirror, piercing through the void. Saint-tier power erupted from the demonic mirror, contending against the huge hand that was grabbing down from the sky. The void between the two was annihilated soundlessly, returning to its most primitive state. This was the collision of Saint-tier power. Even the primal chaos energy was forced out. Damn it, I don't believe that he alone can defeat us. The wind demon roared, then rushed forward and slapped the primordial heavenly demon's back. Boom! Endless demonic power burst out of wind demon and rushed into primordial demon's body. It merged with the demonic power in primordial demon's body and formed an extremely powerful force. Primeval heavenly demon and wind demon's potentials were fully released, making Primeval heavenly demon's power reach the saint level. Rumble, heaven and earth shook. The primordial demon mirror was fully awakened. This was a great saint-tier power. It erupted like a mountain torrent and directly shattered the huge hand that was grabbing down from the sky. Heaven and earth were collapsing. This side of the world seemed to be unable to withstand such a force at all. The whole world showed signs of collapsing as if doomsday had arrived. However, just as the great saint-tier power spread in all directions, a tremor suddenly came from the depths of this side of the world. Buzz. A terrifying sound wave came out from the depths of this side of the world. A powerful and unstoppable force froze the entire world and resisted the power of the primordial demon mirror, so that this destructive force would not spread and destroy the entire world. It was unknown what happened in the depths of this side of the world. The destructive force in this side of the world had weakened to a bearable level. Heaven's retribution began to dissipate. Jiu Fei and He Tian's attention were attracted by the battle between the ancient wind god and the two great demons. They did not know when the power of heaven's retribution began to dissipate. After Primeval Heavenly Demon used the primordial demon mirror to shatter the huge hand condensed by the ancient wind god, he did something that made everyone dumbfounded. They saw that primordial heavenly demon hit the ancient wind demon's demon body with his palm, directly blowing up the demon body. Ancient wind demon was furious. Primordial old ghost actually hit him when he was down. It was too insidious to attack him at this time. Wind demon was unwilling to let primordial heavenly demon destroy his demon body. Boom! Wind demon's exploded demon body burned. The dark demon fire instantly swept the entire world, drowning primordial heavenly demon in it. You are ruthless. Primordial heavenly demon's voice came from the demon fire. Wind demon was burning his own demon chi. He wanted to perish together with primordial heavenly demon. Ruthless then you? Let's die together. Wind demon's divine thoughts came from the demon fire. At this time, Jiu Fei and He Tian had already escaped far away. Even Wind God's incarnation did not make a move. Only you will die. I want your power. Primordial heavenly demon roared again and again. Then, a dark vortex appeared in the endless demon fire. The vortex emitted a heaven-devouring power, swallowing the surrounding demon fire. Roar! Wind demon's terrified divine thoughts came from the demon fire. The monstrous demon fire was fixed and swallowed into the primordial demon mirror. After obtaining Wind demon's demon power, the primordial demon mirror's aura became even more terrifying. It had a kind of power that could shock the heavens. Without any suspense, primordial heavenly demon's demon mirror swallowed everything. Nothing was left of Wind demon's incarnation. His demon power became a part of the demon mirror's power. After obtaining Wind demon's power, primordial heavenly demon's strength directly broke through from infinitely close to the saint realm. Now, he could fight with Wind God. Whoosh! Primordial heavenly demon took a step and rushed to the depths of this divine land. There was a big cauldron looming there. A medicinal fragrance floated in the entire world. The peerless divine medicine was refined. Jiu Fei and He Tian couldn't sit still when they thought of this. Jiu Fei's spirit entered the humanoid battle puppet. He immediately attacked primordial heavenly demon and intercepted primordial heavenly demon. Courting death. Primordial heavenly demon used the demon mirror and shone it directly at Jiu Fei. The destructive demon light directly shattered the void and penetrated the heaven and earth, showing a terrifying power. This was the power of the great sage level. It was not something Jiu Fei could imagine. Without any suspense, the humanoid battle puppet that Jiu Fei had entered was directly sent flying. Even a saint-level battle puppet could not contend with such power. Primordial heavenly demon wanted to rush into the depths of this divine land and seize the myriad medicine cosmic cauldron. One must know that there was a cauldron of myriad medicine cosmic cauldron with a peerless divine medicine. For cultivators, there was nothing more precious than the peerless divine medicine that could help people improve their cultivation. However, no one was willing to see the treasure fall into the hands of an outsider. Jiu Fei made a move to stop it, but the wind god incarnation had already caught up. Bam! The ancient wind god incarnation directly blasted out a palm, making primordial heavenly demon unable to escape, forcing him to confront it head-on. Boom! The void between heaven and earth was directly annihilated, and the whole world was shaking. The power of the sage level once again collided with each other, and the mighty energy storm shattered everything. The surrounding mountains were constantly collapsing, and dust rose to the sky. The birds and beasts in this part of the world were frightened and fled in all directions. There was no trace of birds and beasts in the surrounding area. Primordial heavenly demon and the ancient wind god were fighting. Both of their footwork could be said to be unparalleled in the world. The two of them moved quickly in the void, and wherever they passed, the void would inevitably collapse, leaving behind the broken void that would slowly recover. The ancient wind god did not have a holy weapon in hand, but even so, his incarnation showed unparalleled combat power, and confronted the destructive demonic light emitted by the demon mirror with his bare hands. This was the power of a great sage of the human clan who had cultivated to the sage realm. It was a little unbelievable that her incarnation had the power of a sage level. Even if the primordial demon mirror showed the terrifying power of a great sage level, it was difficult to obliterate Gu Fei. Bam! Boom! The speed of the two great sage level powerhouses was too fast, and the dull sound of collision came from the depths of this part of the world. The void shook, and it was extremely shocking. The ancient wind god intercepted the primordial heavenly demon, which made Gu Fei and He Tian overjoyed. They immediately soared into the sky and flew in the direction of Yang Er. The power of heaven's retribution was about to dissipate. Gu Fei and He Tian came to the place where Yang Er crossed the heaven's retribution, and both of their hearts thumped violently. Where's Yang Er? Where did she go? Did she fail to cross the heaven's retribution? Gu Fei and He Tian were shocked. All they saw were scattered stones, collapsed mountains nearby, and the ground was a mess. However, Gu Fei and He Tian did not see Yang Er. Could it be that Yang Er could not withstand the heaven's retribution, and her body and soul were destroyed by the heaven's retribution? Gu Fei and He Tian were bewildered. They carefully searched the vicinity, but they did not find any trace of Yang Er. Even if her body and soul were destroyed by heaven's retribution, there should be something left behind. It's too thorough and clean. Gu Fei thought for a moment, then turned and rushed to the location of the cauldron of myriad medicines. The cauldron of myriad medicines had nurtured a cauldron of heaven-defying peerless divine pill. If one were to take such a peerless divine pill, one would probably face his own heaven's retribution immediately. When Gu Fei and He Tian arrived at the place where the cauldron of myriad medicines was located, the scene in front of them made them feel surprised and happy, and the boulder in their hearts was lifted. Chapter 1308. The cauldron of the universe of medicines floated high in the sky, surrounded by rays of divine light. Countless lines of the great path were faintly discernible, and an unimaginably powerful coercion spread out. Every divine pattern of the great path was as huge as a mountain. They were directly imprinted in the void, triggering the power of the great path of heaven and earth. No one could approach it. Gu Fei and He Tian stopped at a distance. They felt their souls trembling, as if they were facing a supreme saint. They almost fell to their knees. Even with the protection of the purple gold divine sword, they still felt a great pressure. It was too terrifying. Such coercion was enough to shock the world. An ancient cauldron became the only thing between heaven and earth. And higher in the sky, there was also an ancient cauldron as huge as a mountain. However, this ancient cauldron did not emit the power of the great path. That ancient cauldron was Gu Fei's mountain and river cauldron. The mountain and river cauldron was simple and unadorned, with chaotic primordial chi lingering on it. Although the cauldron of the universe of medicines below emitted a monstrous saint-level coercion, the mountain and river cauldron was as still as a mountain. With a thought from Gu Fei, the ancient cauldron quickly shrank, and then flew back to him, sinking into his dantian. After retrieving the mountain and river cauldron, Gu Fei also breathed a sigh of relief. He and He Tian retreated into the distance. The cauldron of the universe of medicines had completely awakened. Unless a real great saint came, no one could approach it. Yang Er, who was sitting cross-legged on the cauldron of the universe of medicines, radiated with divine light. The aura of the great path on her body resonated with the aura of the great path emitted by the cauldron of the universe of medicines below her. What is she trying to do? Gu Fei and He Tian retreated thousands of miles away. He Tian could not help but exclaim when he saw this scene with his yin-yang divine eyes. It seemed that Yang Er wanted to refine the cauldron of the universe of medicines. The cauldron of the universe of medicines was a divine tool refined by a great saint of the human race. It was absolutely impossible for Yang who was only in the mighty realm, to refine such a divine tool. After all, Jiu Fei had only managed to refine those extreme saint weapons with the help of the martial ancestor's Dao brand that was branded in his heart. One should know that when Jiu Fei refined those divine weapons of the Great Path, he had to borrow the power of the Great Path of the martial ancestor, he had to rely on the power of the Great Path. Of saint weapons refined by great saints were generally difficult to refine by others. If someone wanted to refine a saint weapon, the spirit imprint of the saint weapon's original owner would immediately cause trouble. In the heaven realm, there had been cases of people being killed by the holy weapon after failing to refine it. However, it seemed like Jiu Fei wasn't worried about Yang because the myriad medicine cosmos cauldron didn't resist at all. Instead, the spiritual mark in the cauldron was cooperating with Yang to refine the ancient cauldron. Yang became more and more ethereal, just like an immortal above the 9 heavens. Her whole body shone with immortal light, and vague Dao patterns appeared on her body. Mighty realm of Dao severing could condense their own Dao, and their Dao power would evolve into Dao patterns. This was a sign of becoming a mighty realm, and it was the embodiment of Dao power. Mighty realm of Dao severing could attract a trace of Dao power to their body. This was not only a sublimation of strength and cultivation, but also a transformation of power, a transformation of the essence. Only by severing Dao could one truly embark on the path of the strong. Rumble, at this moment, a shocking sound came from afar. Jiu Fei and He Tian were shocked. That direction was the place where the ancient wind god's incarnation and the primordial heavenly demon's incarnation were fighting. That place had already been completely enveloped by demonic qi. A ball of black light rose from the ground like a black demonic sun, exuding a terrifying demonic might that could shake the heavens and earth. Buzz! The cauldron of myriad medicines seemed to sense this power, and actually began to vibrate on its own. A pressure that was no weaker than the devil's suns might appeared between heaven and earth. At this moment, a mass of chaotic divine light rose from the cauldron of myriad medicines. This is, when Jiu Fei and He Tian saw this mass of divine light, they were immediately dumbfounded, and their voices trembled. They did not expect this thing to be in the cauldron of myriad medicines. This mass of divine light was only the size of a human head, but it was unpredictable. Sometimes it was a mass of chaos, like the scene before the world was created, and sometimes it was turbid and clear, as if it was evolving the world. The source of heaven and earth, chaotic divine bead. Jiu Fei and He Tian looked at this mass of divine light rising from the cauldron of myriad medicines, and their eyes lit up. This was the source of heaven and earth of this world. It was the same as the source of heaven and earth of the path of hell, and there was no difference. However, the source of heaven and earth of the path of hell was much larger than this one. The path of hell was a world refined by the ancient Buddhist Lord. It could be said to be a perfect world, vast and boundless. However, the world created by the ancient great sage was only several tens of thousands of miles in radius. It couldn't be compared to the path of hell at all. She's going to. When Jiu Fei saw this, he could vaguely guess what Yang was doing. Not only is she going to refine the cauldron of myriad medicines, but she's also going to refine this world. He Tian was extremely shocked. It was over this time, and he would get nothing. The divine light of heaven and earth of the origin floated in front of Yang. Then, lines of Dao appeared between Yang's eyebrows, and the lines of Dao lingered, as if they were connected to a world of light. A small figure walked out from the lines of Dao between Yang's eyebrows, and then disappeared into the mass of chaotic divine light in front of her. Rumble, the entire world shook, and the divine light of heaven and earth of the origin shone brightly, illuminating the entire world. Even the place where the ancient wind god and the primordial demon fought was no exception. The power of heaven and earth was vast, and even the power of the primordial demon mirror was suppressed. Everything in this world was suppressed. The entire world seemed to be returning to chaos. What should we do? He Tian knew what would happen when Yang refined this part of the world. When that time came, even if a saint were to enter this part of the world, his life or death would be at Yang's whim. Roar! An angry roar was heard from afar. The primordial demon's incarnation seemed to be in big trouble, and it roared again and again. The primordial demon's incarnation desperately activated the primordial demon mirror, breaking the void, and wanted to reopen the passage between this world and the outside world. However, all of this was in vain. The origin of chaos could not reappear, and they would be trapped in this world until they died. Otherwise, they would have to take the risk of breaking into the chaos. However, once they were lost in the chaos, even if they could survive, they would not be able to find the way back to the outside world. They could only drift in the chaos forever, forever alone. Chapter 1309. Rumble. The entire heaven and earth that the great sage had carved out began to tremble, as the energy of heaven and earth surged, as though a supreme sage was about to awaken. Apart from the divine weapons of the extreme path, everything in this part of the world was suppressed by the power of heaven and earth. All living beings were terrified. Even the incarnation of the primordial heavenly demon felt the danger and wanted to break through the void and rush out. Outside of this world was chaos. There was nothing there. Everything was in chaos, and only the power of destruction wreaked havoc. The primordial sky demon almost charged into the primordial chaos several times, but he endured it. Once he did, it was very easy to get lost inside. Once lost, the chances of coming out of the chaos would be minuscule. The primordial sky demon didn't want to try. He didn't want to walk this path until the very end. If he got lost in the primordial chaos forever, even a saint would go crazy. Bam! A demonic sun-like demonic light illuminated the world and blocked the unparalleled punch of the ancient wind god. With the primordial demon mirror in hand, even the ancient wind god would find it difficult to kill this demon in a short time. The devil weapon refined by the great sage of ancient devil Tao was extremely powerful. It had the terrifying power to destroy heaven and earth. If it wasn't for the Primeval Demon mirror, the Primeval Demon would have been killed many times. Even though the primordial sky demon had devoured the wind devil and obtained its power, it was still nothing in front of the wind god. An invincible battle skill was enough to sweep through everything. At this moment, the ancient wind god's incarnation also sensed the changes in this part of the world. He didn't seem to care at all, but the pressure that came from this part of the world made him feel apprehensive. The wind god attacked with his full strength. His fists manifested the 5 elements of heaven and earth. The power of the 5 elements engulfed the world. It was as if there were 5 worlds revolving around him. With a punch, it was as if a part of the world was pushing forward. The ancient wind god's aura was powerful to the extreme, displaying an invincible spirit. This is a true invincible battle skill. Gu Fei's heart shuddered seeing this. The flawless 5 elements fist was a battle skill invented by the supreme martial progenitor. When executed by the ancient wind god, its power was tremendous, and no one could stand a chance against it. Bam! The ancient wind god's fire elemental fist dispersed all the devil chi in the world, and the fire elemental fist shook the primordial magic mirror. Roar! The incarnation of the primordial heavenly demon used its devil path divine ability with all its strength. The primordial magic mirror descended from the sky and entered his body. An extremely terrifying aura immediately spread out from the body of the demon. The Primeval Demon and the magic mirror merged into one, and his combat power soared to an unimaginable level. There were ripples in the void around him, as if the world could not contain him. This guy is going all out, Hei Tian said. 6 paths of devil hell, Primeval Demon roared, and 6 dark whirlpools immediately appeared around him, and a heart-palpitating demonic aura spread between heaven and earth. Rumble, the void trembled, and the 6 whirlpools emitted a heaven-devouring power, trying to devour the ancient wind god. Wherever they passed, the void crumbled and was devoured. The depths of the 6 terrifying whirlpools seemed to be connected to 6 unimaginable devil prisons, and demonic howls seemed to be coming from them. The ancient wind god did not say anything. He directly reached out with his right hand and pressed forward. His palm grew infinitely larger and covered the entire sky. This is the heaven-engulfing hand. Gu Fei recognized this battle skill. This was a battle skill created by the peerless martial ancestor. It seemed that the ancient wind god was really related to the peerless martial ancestor. This was an unforgettable scene. A huge hand that covered the sky collided with the 6 whirlpools emitting terrifying demonic energy. The 6 pitch-black whirlpools swallowed heaven and earth, but they were unable to swallow the ancient wind god's heaven-covering hand into the black whirlpools. The sky-encompassing palm smashed the 6 black whirlpools. However, as it did so, the sky-encompassing palm dissipated into the void. "This is too terrifying," He Tian murmured to himself. The ancient wind god's battle strength was so powerful that he dared to go head-on against the demonic weapon refined by the great saint demons. It's just an incarnation. Could it be comparable to a real human race martial body? Ji Yufei was also extremely shocked. The ancient wind god was able to move unhindered in the untainted land. The ancient wind god incarnation took a step forward and instantly arrived in front of the primordial demon incarnation. He then directly threw a punch. The powerful fist energy was like 100,000 volcanoes erupting at the same time. The void in front of the fist was collapsing. The destructive force formed by the shattering of heaven and earth instantly engulfed the primordial demon. If the power of a martial Dao battle skill was strong enough, it could break through any divine ability. No matter how many spells you have, I can break them with a single punch. A successful cultivator was definitely the strongest existence in the world. The ancient wind god incarnation's battle strength was as strong as the original body. It was absolutely invincible among the same level. The ancient wind god incarnation directly hit the primordial demon incarnation together with the primordial demon mirror into the chaos. He wanted to use the destructive force of the chaos to obliterate the primordial demon incarnation. However, the primordial demon incarnation had a great saint-level demon weapon in hand. Even if it was hit into the chaos, it was difficult to be obliterated by the power of chaos. A powerful saint-level fluctuation came out from the shattered heaven and earth. A jet of black light shot out from the primal chaos, sweeping away the ancient wind god's incarnation that was chasing after it. A figure walked out from the primal chaos. Swish! The moment the incarnation of the primeval heavenly demon walked out of the chaos, a huge divine pattern of the Great Path, which was as large as a mountain ridge, emitted a terrible fluctuation of Tao power. It rushed out from the depths of this world and hit the incarnation of the primeval heavenly demon. Without any suspense, the primordial demon incarnation did not even have time to let out a scream. His entire body was shattered by the Great Path divine pattern. In front of the power of the Great Path of heaven and earth, even a great saint-level demon weapon was not enough. Buzz! The primordial demon mirror trembled. The power of the Great Path emitted by the Great Path divine pattern shook the demon mirror away. The demon mirror suffered a great impact, and the light immediately dimmed. This. Chapter 13:10. A beam of divine light of the Great Path shot out from the depths of this world. It hit the demonic body of the primordial heavenly demon and directly blew it up. When Ji Yufei and He Tian saw this, they were immediately dumbfounded. Rumble! The cauldron of myriad drug universe radiated billions of rays of light, and the power of heaven and earth in the entire world was drawn. Strands, like billions of silk threads, emerged from the black cauldron and disappeared into the void of the entire world. The divine light of the Great Path just now seemed to have shot out from the cauldron of the universe, but at that time, no one saw it. That divine pearl of heaven and earth origin was vibrating. It was moving toward Yang who was sitting cross-legged on the cauldron of myriad medicines. It wanted to enter Yang body. Glabella, the space between Yang brows blossomed with light. It was as if it was connected to another world. The power of her divine will was vast and mighty like the ocean. The light was resplendent like a divine land. She's really going to refine this world. We have to get out of here quickly. He Tian was incomparably nervous. Refining a world was no simple matter. The ancient wind god made his move. He obliterated all the devil chi from the explosion of the primordial heavenly demon's devil body. He was very careful and cautious, because for an existence like the primordial heavenly demon, even if his devil body was destroyed, he might not really die. As expected, there was a faint fluctuation in the devil chi. It was the spiritual imprint of the incarnation of the primeval demon. Even the divine light of the Great Path could not destroy it. Roar! The spiritual imprint of the primeval devil let out a roar of disbelief and then died out completely. The ancient god of wind obliterated everything. The great sage incarnation of the primordial demons had finally been slain. Afterwards, the blurry figure turned around and gazed into the depths of the world. Two gazes shot out from his eyes, as if he could see through everything in the world. Ji Fei and He Tian didn't dare to act rashly. This ancient wind god was so powerful that it could shatter the void with a wave of its hand. This is the equivalent of a saint. He took back the primordial demon mirror and wanted to destroy it. However, it was a supreme demon tool refined by the great sage of the ancient demons. Unless his real body came, it would be impossible to destroy it. In the end, the ancient wind god's incarnation absorbed the magic mirror into its body. It wanted to use its own godly power to slowly erase the magic mirror. The primordial demon mirror was a very famous demon tool even in the ancient times. Once the demon mirror appeared, it could illuminate the 9 heavens and the 9 hells. It could even kill saints. Who knows how many experts have been killed by this magic mirror? After the ancient wind god incarnation put away the primordial demon mirror, he directly punched the void in front of him. The void was annihilated under his fist, and a chaotic void with a radius of 100 feet appeared in front of Ji Fei and He Tian. Seeing this, Ji Fei and He Tian couldn't help but be surprised and happy. The ancient wind god actually punched out the primordial qi. This kind of strength was too frightening. It should be known that even if the primordial demon incarnation had a great killing weapon like the primordial demon mirror, it would still be difficult for the primordial demon incarnation to recreate the primordial origin. But this ancient wind god incarnation directly punched out the primordial origin. How could this not make Ji Fei and He Tian shocked? The ancient wind god incarnation directly walked into the primordial origin and disappeared in the primordial qi. He left this world just like that. Ji Fei and He Tian looked at each other. Then, Ji Fei took out the mountain and river cauldron and floated above their heads. He also walked into the primordial origin. When Ji Fei and He Tian walked into the primordial origin, the 100 feet radius of the primordial origin immediately became smaller and finally disappeared. The only connection to the outside world had disappeared. Ji Fei and He Tian were protected by the mountain and river cauldron. As they walked through the primordial chaos, they sensed the fluctuations of heaven and earth energy coming from up ahead. In the most primordial chaos, this fluctuation of heaven and earth energy was like a bright lamp, guiding Ji Fei and Erebus forward. Their speed was very fast, but there were no rules of time within the primordial chaos. Everything was a scene of primordial chaos before heaven and earth had been created. This was a kind of primordial state between heaven and earth. Outside of heaven and earth was the primordial chaos. All heaven and earth were created from primordial chaos. Whether it was the heaven realm, the human realm, or even the heaven and earth created by the great sages, they were all born from primordial chaos. It was unknown how much time had passed. Perhaps it had only been a moment, or perhaps it had been millions of years. As they walked through the primordial chaos, all they saw was chaos and destruction. The heaven and earth energy in front of them grew stronger and stronger. Ji Fei and He Tian knew that this was the exit of the primordial chaos. They quickened their pace. Boom! Just at this moment, the primordial chaos in front of them began to shake intensely. Earth, water, fire, and wind wreaked havoc. An extremely powerful force struck the primordial chaos. Oh! Ji Fei and He Tian were both startled. Someone was fighting in the primordial chaos. Swish! A blood-colored divine spear emitted boundless blood-colored light. It broke through the layers of chaos and directly pierced towards Ji Fei and He Tian. Saint-level power surged. Someone was attacking Ji Fei and He Tian. Damn! Just as they were about to leave the primordial chaos, someone was attacking them. That infuriated Ji Fei and He Tian. Swish! A figure charged out of Ji Fei's dantian. A saint-class energy surged out of that figure, unleashing waves of destruction within the primordial chaos. That person sneered and directly punched forward to meet the blood-colored divine spear. The powerful force shook the surrounding chaos and instantly collided with the blood-colored divine spear. Boom! With a loud bang, the divine spear shattered, and the figure in front of Jiu Fei and the others also took a few steps back. However, he still stood in front of Jiu Fei and the others, blocking all the mighty destructive power. Hey! A cry of surprise came from ahead. It seemed that the person who had attacked secretly was very surprised. The figure that had charged out of Jiu Fei's Dantian was Jiu Fei's Saint-class battle avatar. This Saint-class battle avatar looked exactly like Jiu Fei. The Saint-grade combat avatar had become a clone of Jiu Fei. With this Saint-class clone, Jiu Fei could do whatever he wanted in the heaven domain. What primordial emperor's yarn? What heaven demon descendant? He could ignore all of them. The Saint-class clone pressed forward. Its eyes emitted 2 rays of divine light that pierced through the primordial chaos and locked onto a blood-colored figure. That is, within the blood-colored demonic light, a fiend god was faintly discernible. Chapter 13:11. What is that? Jiu Fei's doppelganger locked onto a demon in front of him. It was a blood-colored demon shadow. It was blurry and hard to see its face clearly. On the body of the demon shadow, there were demonic patterns. This was the embodiment of the power of the great Tao. Even with the heavenly eye, it was absolutely impossible to see its face clearly. Could it be the great demon in the demonic prison Blood Sea? He Tian's background was mysterious and he was knowledgeable. He seemed to have thought of something, but he dared not confirm it. One should know that the great demon appeared earlier than primordial demon and wind demon. Impossible. He Tian shook his head. If that great demon came out, perhaps the entire heaven realm would have flowed with rivers of blood. Only the extreme Tao saints could compete with it. Who cares what it is? Since it has come to us, there is nothing more to say. Jiu Fei said coldly. His doppelganger, which looked exactly like him, pressed forward step by step. His primordial spirit entered the doppelganger and allowed it to exert the power of a saint. Even if a saint came, he could fight with him. Powerful waves of immortal force spread out from Jiu Fei's doppelganger, blocking the surrounding primordial chaos. He had already locked onto the qi movement of the demon in front of him. A saint puppet? The demon in front of him was very surprised. He didn't expect his opponent to have such a thing. He seemed to have been too careless. He attacked before figuring out his opponent's strength. Very good. I just happen to lack a body that can accommodate my primordial spirit. The demon's body emitted a monstrous demonic aura. He shook the blood spear in his hand and directly met Jiu Fei's doppelganger. The monstrous bloodlight turned the land of primordial chaos into a world of blood. In the bloodlight, there seemed to be countless blood shadows faintly appearing. They let out waves of heart-palpitating demonic howls, like the wailing of vengeful spirits in the Blood Sea. It was extremely terrifying. Swish! The demonic spear pierced forward, turning into a beam of bloodlight that pierced through the heavens and earth. It broke through the layers of chaotic qi and pierced towards Jiu Fei's clone. Jiu Fei's doppelganger did not dodge. Instead, he struck out with the flawless 5 elements fist. Rumble! The void around Jiu Fei's Saint-class clone seemed to have appeared. Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The power of the 5 elements circulated, shaking the heavens and earth. Clang! The fist of Jiu Fei's doppelganger collided with the blood-colored demonic spear, causing a metallic sound to ring out. The 2 figures moved rapidly as they fought. Blood slaughter 9 heavens 10 earth. The blood-colored devil let out a furious roar, causing the entire land of primordial chaos to shake. A blood-colored devil spear swept through everything, even the primordial chaos was destroyed. Monstrous blood-colored demonic light swept out and engulfed Jiu Fei's doppelganger. When Jiu Fei and He Tian saw this scene from afar, they could not help but be taken aback. The other party was extremely ferocious. His strength seemed to be above the primordial sky demon incarnation and wind demon incarnation. Roar! Jiu Fei's doppelganger roared and fully displayed the power of the flawless 5 elements fist. The 5 elements void world formed by the 5 elements essence qi erupted, pushing back the blood-colored demonic light. He struck out 18 punches in a row, clashing with the blood-colored demonic light 18 times. The chaotic void was annihilated, and the destructive power spread out. Even the primordial chaos could not withstand it. The blood-colored devil was also extremely powerful. It was not at a disadvantage against Gu Fei's Saint-class doppelganger. The two were evenly matched, and each displayed invincible combat strength. Where did this guy come from? In the distance, Gu Fei and He Tian, who were protected by the mountain and river cauldron, were extremely shocked. Such an existence should not have appeared in this world. Was the world really going to change? It's not his real body. It's just a doppelganger, just like the others. He Tian saw something strange. The demonic figure in front was not the real body. What is this guy's real body? Gu Fei asked. If the doppelganger was so powerful, wouldn't the real body be even more monstrous? It was really hard to imagine. If I'm not wrong, this guy's real body should be the legendary demon ancestor born in the blood sea of the devil prison, He Tian said. The demon ancestor was an extremely ancient name. It was the ancestor of all demons in the world, and it had invincible power that allowed it to look down on the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The doppelganger of a demon ancestor? Gu Fei was shocked when he heard this. This kind of existence was not something that a supreme saint could fight against. No wonder this doppelganger was so powerful and had the power of a saint. A battle between saints broke out. Gu Fei's doppelganger displayed supreme combat skills and battled with the demonic figure. The saint's power was vast, and the demonic aura was turbulent. For a moment, it was hard to suppress the other. Let's go out first. He Tian did not want to stay in this land of chaos. Who knew if there were other guys hiding in the dark and suddenly attacked them? It was safer to go out. Okay. Gu Fei nodded. Obviously, this great demon was waiting here to attack them. Could it be that this great demon was also an expert invited by the female demon emperor? If that was the case, then the female demon emperor's means were too terrifying. The existence of the saint level had disappeared in the 9 heavens and 10 earths for countless years. Since the untainted land was broken, the existence of the saint level had collectively disappeared. However, some of the superforces in the untainted land still had various kinds of heritage left by the supreme existence of their race. The doppelganger of the saint level was a kind of heritage that could deter all directions. Also, the supreme holy weapon was a kind of deterrent force. However, no one would easily use such a power unless it was a matter of life and death. But now, someone had actually invited such an existence to help. What was happening in the outside world? Gu Fei and He Tian both felt uneasy. Something big must have happened in the outside world. The demons did not hesitate to wake up their old ancestor. This was not a good thing. They used the mountain and river cauldron to protect themselves and then went around the battlefield in front of them, heading in the direction of the power of heaven and earth. Swish. Gu Fei and He Tian rushed out from the chaos. An extremely powerful pressure immediately suppressed them. Outside, the sky was dark. Bloodlight constantly appeared. People died. Terrifying waves came from everywhere. No one knew how many people were fighting. All kinds of divine light and demonic light flashed. On the ground and in the sky, there were figures everywhere. Everyone was fighting like crazy. Battle cries shook the 9 heavens. Divine blood and demon blood constantly rained down from the sky. Countless immortals and demons were fighting. In the distance, there was the power of the saint level. There were supreme figures confronting each other. Seeing this extremely shocking scene, Gu Fei and He Tian were immediately dumbfounded. Who could tell them what was happening in the outside world? Chapter 13:12. Under the dark red sky, figures were everywhere. People were constantly falling from the sky, their blood splattering across the sky. Gu Fei and He Tian were dumbfounded by the scene before them. Had someone already broken through the land of saint burial? Or were they fighting for the immemorial Tao fruit in the great tomb? Swoosh. A figure shrouded in demonic aura rushed over from the side and directly attacked Gu Fei and He Tian. A demonic saber emitted a frightening black light and tore through the void as it slashed towards Gu Fei and He Tian. This was an expert of the demons who was close to the Tao severing realm. He was the emperor of demons and was extremely powerful. However, In the eyes of Jiyu Fei and He Tian, this Emperor of Demons was not enough. They were already one step away from the Dao-severing realm, especially Jiyu Fei. His physique was special. Even without the Dao-severing realm, he could already fight against Dao-severing experts. You're courting death. Jiyu Fei stretched out his right hand and ignored the blade of the demonic saber. He grabbed the demonic saber in his hand and exerted force, snapping the demonic saber in half. What? The Emperor of Demons was shocked and wanted to retreat, but it was too late. After snapping the demonic saber, Jiyu Fei followed up with a punch that instantly landed on the Emperor of Demons' chest. Catcher! A bone-chilling sound of bones shattering was immediately heard from the Demon Emperor's chest. His entire chest had collapsed. The Emperor of Demons' chest was almost penetrated by Jiyu Fei's punch. This kind of power was enough to destroy all the vitality in his body. His demonic physique was destroyed. Roar! The Emperor of Demons roared and the top of his head split open. A demonic light rushed out from the top of his head and wrapped around a small figure. This was the primordial spirit of the demon Dao. The Emperor of Demons wanted to abandon his physical body and escape. Trying to escape. Seeing this, He Tian couldn't help but sneer. In front of Big Boss, even a Dao-severing almighty was not enough. The moment Big Boss made a move, this insignificant demon emperor's fate was already sealed. Although the speed of the Essence Soul escape was extremely fast, Jiyu Fei's speed wasn't slow either. With a point of his finger, he directly dispersed the Essence Soul demonic light. In just an instant, a devil emperor had fallen. Jiyu Fei broke the demonic weapon of the emperor with his bare hands and destroyed the body and soul of an emperor among the demons. His lightning-fast attack had truly stunned many of the devil dwellers who were about to attack him. Killing a devil emperor in an instant, this kind of combat strength made people's hearts palpitate. However, not everyone was frightened by Jiyu Fei. Jiyu Fei's attack attracted someone's attention. The moment he killed the demon emperor, Jiyu Fei also sensed a dangerous aura. Someone had already locked onto him, as if a prehistoric beast had already regarded him as its prey. Humph! I didn't expect there to be an expert like you among the human race sovereign realm. A black-haired young man came from afar. When someone attacked him, he casually pointed with a finger or punched out, and they were all killed in an instant. The blood of the immortals sprinkled from the sky, and the immortals who attacked him were directly destroyed. Huh! Seeing this young man's strength, Jiyu Fei and He Tian couldn't help but be stunned. They sensed a dangerous aura from this young man. A celestial sovereign realm demon? Jiyu Fei stared at the young man in black who walked over calmly. His pupils involuntarily contracted. Although this young man was also a demon emperor, he made Jiyu Fei feel a great deal of pressure. He vaguely felt that there was a shocking power hidden in this young man's body. If this power erupted, even he would be in danger. At this moment, be it the immortals or the demons, they all hid far away. If these two killing gods were to clash, it would be an earth-shattering battle. When Jiyu Fei struck out to kill the demon emperor, many people saw it. However, the demons were very afraid of this black-robed young man. When they saw him walking over, they all hid far away. With the demonic sky young master making a move, this human is going to be in for it. Ever since the demonic sky young master made his debut, he rarely made a move. Today, I can finally witness the supreme demonic arts of the demonic sky lineage. The surrounding demons were all whispering. They were very wary of this black-robed young man and were unwilling to get close. Even when they spoke, they deliberately lowered their voices. Demonic sky lineage? He Tian was shocked and couldn't help but change his expression. Why? Is this clan very strong? Sensing the change in He Tian, Jiyu Fei was a little interested in this so-called demonic sky lineage. One must know that this demonic sky lineage was definitely not simple for it to be able to move He Tian. Demonic sky, the legendary ancestor of all demons. To think that this lineage could be passed down. He Tian said with a trembling voice. The demonic sky lineage was the supreme demons of the 100,000 demon mountains. They were the rulers of the 10 great demons. The powerful demons of this lineage had not left the 100,000 demon mountains for close to 10,000 years. Could this so-called demonic sky young master also be here for the primordial Tao fruit in the peerless tomb? Or the treasures of the saints in the saint burial grounds? Kneel and accept your death. The demonic sky young master came in front of Ji Yufei and said indifferently. He didn't seem to care about Ji Yufei at all. The only thing he cared about was the ancient cauldron floating above Ji Yufei's head. At this moment, the mountain and river cauldron had completely calmed down. No one would have thought that this ancient cauldron was actually an extreme Tao sacred cauldron. However, the demonic sky young master seemed to be able to tell that this ancient cauldron was extraordinary. TSK. Even the son of the demonic sky didn't dare to speak to me like this. Who do you think you are? He Tian recovered from his shock and said coldly. You're very arrogant. Ji Yufei said with a frown. Although the demonic sky young master was strong, it seemed impossible for him to suppress Ji Yufei. It wasn't a joke to say that he was invincible among his peers. As an emperor, Ji Yufei was confident that he could sweep away all other emperors. Since you don't want to die, I'll have to let you die a little more painfully. A murderous glint flashed across the young man's eyes before he disappeared on the spot. Fast, too fast. He was so fast that the naked eye couldn't see him. This speed didn't seem to be inferior to Ji Yufei's extreme 8-step speed. Almost at the same time, Ji Yufei's figure disappeared as well. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. There wasn't even a ripple. The human race martial physique and the young master of the sovereign demons clan attacked at the same time. This was a direct confrontation between two physiques that were rarely seen throughout the ages. The sovereign demon's physique could be said to be one of the strongest physiques in the world. It was inherited from the demonic sky. It was incomparably powerful. Boom. In the next moment, two fists smashed into each other high up in the sky. Two silhouettes appeared high up in the sky, and a circle of visible ripples spread out from the point where the two fists collided. Chapter 1313. The clash between the human race martial physique and the supreme demon's bloodline attracted the attention of many. Ji Yufei had already kept the cauldron of mountain and river and was fighting against the young lord of Devil Sky in the sky with the 8 desolation steps. Both of them were moving so fast that it was difficult for the naked eye to keep up with their speed. Only those who had cultivated the celestial eye could barely catch a glimpse of their figures flashing by. Boom. Bang. It was as if two peerless gods of war were fighting. Their fists and palms clashed, producing a thunderous sound that even destroyed the void. Some of the demons and immortals who could not evade in time were directly torn to shreds by the explosive energy ripples. Too strong. This demon brat is actually able to fight against Boss Gu. The supreme demon's bloodline is indeed extraordinary. He Tian muttered to himself. The strength displayed by the young lord of Devil Sky was too strong. Even though they were both emperors, he was still able to fight against Ji Yufei, who was invincible within the same realm and was not at a disadvantage. At this moment, no one was more shocked than Ji Yufei. The demonic physique of the young lord of Devil Sky was unbelievably strong, able to fight against him head-on. Bang! Ji Yufei struck out with the flawless 5-elemental fist. Towering fiery fist force surged out from his fist and rushed towards the young lord of Devil Sky like a raging river. Flawless 5-elemental fist. You are the successor of the martial ancestor. The young lord of Devil Sky did not dare to be negligent. With a solemn expression, he struck out with the killing technique of the Devil Sky clan. Demonic chi surged from his right hand as boundless demonic energy condensed into a demonic dragon that charged towards Ji Yufei's fist. Roar. The demonic dragon roared towards the sky and charged out from the palm of the young lord of Devil Sky. As if it had a life of its own, it emitted a terrifying demonic aura as it soared between the heavens and earth. Boom. Ji Yufei's fire element fist force collided with the devil dragon that charged out from young lord Evil Sky's hand. The entire world seemed as though it was about to collapse as a destructive energy storm swept out in all directions. Huge spatial cracks the size of mountain ridges extended out into the distance. Many immortals and demons in the vicinity were engulfed by the spatial cracks that spread out in an instant. Their bodies and souls were instantly destroyed, leaving nothing behind. SSS. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air and hurriedly retreated far away. Even He Tian was shocked and retreated far away to avoid this destructive storm. Roar! Ji Yufei shook his fist as the fire element fist force surged violently like 100,000 volcanoes erupting. The extremely ferocious fist force directly shattered the void, causing chaotic qi to burst out. The thousands of feet-long demonic dragon was shattered into several pieces by Ji Yufei's fist force before dissipating into the void. The young lord of Devil Sky was sent flying, but he was not defeated just like that. Good. The young lord of Devil Sky roared as demonic energy surged out from his body. An even more powerful aura erupted from his body as the ferocious demonic energy caused the entire void to tremble. He charged towards Yi Futian from afar, his two demonic eyes emitting a terrifying demonic light of destruction. His right eye was so red that it looked as though blood was about to drip out, while his left eye was pitch black like a bottomless devil's nest. Swish! Two beams of demonic light, one red and one black, shot out from the young lord of Devilsky's demonic eyes, slashing towards Ji Yufei in the blink of an eye. Ji Yufei sneered. At the same time, a beam of purple divine light shot out from between his brows. Then, an almost tangible divine will shot out from between his brows, turning into a Dao sword that slashed forward. Although his Yuanshan had already entered the Saint-tier battle avatar, he could still use one of the 9 secrets of the immortal way, the divine seizing secret technique. He could use his divine will to form a Dao sword that contained the power of the Dao to slash through everything. However, when the Dao sword collided with the red and black beams of demonic light that shot out from the young lord of Devilsky's demonic eyes, both shattered in the void at the same time. This. Ji Yufei was shocked. The Dao sword contained the power of the Dao, a power that could even harm a saint. Yet, it was blocked. This could only mean one thing. The two beams of demonic light that shot out from the young lord of Devilsky's demonic eyes also contained the power of the Dao. A secret technique of the immortal way? How is this possible? The young master of the demon sky was even more astonished than Ji Yufei. He came from the sovereign lineage of the demons and was extremely knowledgeable. He could tell that Ji Yufei was using one of the 9 secrets of the immortal path. It was unbelievable. How is this possible? Isn't he the successor of the martial progenitor? It was impossible for the martial progenitor to cultivate a primordial spirit. The martial progenitor's body was the source of power. There was no need to cultivate a primordial spirit. Why would the successor of the martial progenitor cultivate the immortal path? It was incomprehensible. Since ancient times, there had never been a martial cultivator who cultivated other cultivation techniques. In the eyes of a martial cultivator, the martial Dao was the strongest cultivation technique in the world. Furthermore, it was a taboo for a martial cultivator to cultivate both the martial Dao and the immortal path. If one couldn't cultivate both at the same time, it would be difficult to cultivate both to the peak. Ji Yufei didn't say anything. He immediately closed in on the young master of the demon sky. With a single step, he instantly appeared above the young master's head. With a single step, he executed the 8 desolation steps. Not only did he have the 8 steps extreme speed, he also had the 8 steps 8 killing steps. When Ji Yufei took the first step of the 8 killing steps, a terrifying force surged beneath his feet. Rays of divine light flickered beneath his feet. A part of the void collapsed due to Ji Yufei's steps. It was as if it would collapse into a terrifying chaotic destructive force at any time. Demon Sky steps. The young lord of Devil Sky also took a step and vanished into the void. In the next moment, he reappeared 100 miles away. Boss has met his match. In the distant sky, He Tian couldn't help but be shocked when he saw this scene. The young lord of Devil Sky's cultivation and strength were actually comparable to Ji Yufei. Was the supreme bloodline really that powerful? Devil Sky was the supreme of the demons and the ancestor of all demons. Since ancient times, there had been plenty of demons, but none of them could be compared to Devil Sky. It wasn't a lie that the supreme demons were the rulers of the 100,000 Devil Mountains, and it wasn't just a legend either. The power of the supreme bloodline was unimaginable. Boom! Mo Tian took a step and instantly appeared above Ji Yufei's head. He stomped down on Ji Yufei's head, and a lump of devil light appeared beneath his feet. Horrific devil Dao energy spread out, and it was as though he had stomped down a black sun from the sky. Mo Tian took a step and instantly appeared above Ji Yufei's head. He stomped down on Ji Yufei's head, and a lump of devil light appeared beneath his feet. Horrific devil Dao energy spread out, and it was as though he had stomped down a black sun from the sky. Chapter 13-14. The young master of the demonic sky was extremely domineering, opposing Ji Yufei with equal harshness. He displayed the demonic sky steps, ascending to the heavens in a single step and stepping down on Ji Yufei's head. Boundless demonic energy surged beneath his feet. A mass of black light surged out from beneath his feet, as though a black sun was being stepped on. The entire void of heaven and earth was sealed, and pitch-black spatial cracks extended from beneath his feet. This was a terrifying destructive force, and everyone who witnessed this scene could not help but feel their hearts palpitate. The young master of the demonic sky stepped on the black sun, and it was as though the ancient invincible demonic body had reappeared. His aura and power were enough to move even the mighty figures of the severing Tao. Such a figure was truly terrifying. He had not even reached the severing Tao, but he already possessed the battle prowess of a mighty figure of the severing Tao. A figure that could defy the heavens and fight mighty figures was hard to come by even in 1,000 years. But now, such figures were continuously appearing. This was a sign that a great era was about to appear, and all the outstanding figures had jumped out. It would be difficult to even catch a glimpse of such an existence under normal circumstances. The black demonic sun was being stepped on by the young master of the demonic sky as it pressed down on Ji Yufei. The void was being annihilated, and the heavens and earth were shattering. It was as though doomsday was descending. Ji Yufei felt an immense pressure. His qi activity had been locked. Even if he wanted to retreat, the descending demonic sun would instantly bombard him, and it would be difficult to evade. Ji Yufei sneered. His long hair danced in the wind, and his martial path true power surged from his body. A 5-colored qi aura was emitted from his body. Yin-yang transformed into the 5 elements, and yin-yang true power transformed into the power of the 5 elements. He punched upwards, and a golden radiance bloomed from his fist. His entire right fist was radiant with golden light, as though a golden sun had appeared between the heavens and earth. The power of the metal element surged violently. Ji Yufei struck out with the metal element fist, triggering the power of the metal element between the heavens and earth, shattering the void of heaven and earth as he faced the descending black demonic sun. Rumble, the golden divine sun and the black demonic sun had yet to truly collide, but the vast and mighty power had already shaken the entire world. The black sun descended and thousands of demonic auras descended from above. An extremely powerful demonic aura spread from young Lord Demonic Sky's body, shaking the heavens and earth. Even the almighty Tao severing cultivators who were fighting off in the distance could sense it, and couldn't help but be moved. In this dusky world, there were people fighting everywhere. This was definitely a great war of immortals and demons that was rarely seen in 1,000 years. The existences participating in this war all possessed great strength. Most of them were immortal gods and devil dwellers. Immortal gods and devil dwellers were constantly falling. Their blood spilled on the ground, and broken weapons and magical items could be seen everywhere. In the distance, there was a saint-tier fluctuation. Someone was coming with a holy weapon, but the demons also had a saint-tier demon weapon. It was hard to imagine what was going on. Boom! With an earth-shattering explosion, Ji Yufei's golden fist collided with the black demonic sun that came crashing down from the sky. The power of the metal element exploded, sweeping across the heavens and earth. The black sun was shattered, and young Lord Demonic Sky was sent flying high up in the sky. Ji Yufei didn't gain any advantage either. He fell from the sky like a 5-colored divine sun. Boom! The entire ground shook violently. The ground undulated like waves. Both of them seemed to be evenly matched. Ji Yufei was sent flying down from the sky. His entire fist felt like it was about to shatter, and a piercing pain shot up from his fist. This human's martial body, young Lord Demonic Sky was also shocked. He had underestimated this human. This person had obviously obtained the legacy of the martial ancestor and cultivated the 9 secrets of the immortal path. The other party's emperor martial body was enough to contend against his supreme demon's body. This was the first time he had encountered such a strong opponent since his awakening. Young Lord Demonic Sky was not a demon from the same era as Jiyu Fei. He came from the ancient era and had been in slumber until now. He only awakened in the current era from the Demonic Sky mystic ground. What supreme bloodline? Just SOSO. Jiyu Fei created a bottomless pit on the ground. His words came from the pit. 5-colored divine light flashed and a figure rose from the pit. 5 voids revolved around Jiyu Fei. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth. The power of the 5 elements surged. These were 5 small worlds that represented the power of the 5 elements. It was a technique derived from martial arts and the power of the heavens and earth. It was similar to a divine ability, but not a divine ability. It contained the power of the void of the heavens and earth. This was a combat technique that belonged to Jiyu Fei, a great technique that he created. He displayed the 8 desolation steps and walked in the void of the 5 elements, increasing his speed to the limit. With a single step, he appeared high up in the sky. Heaven covering palm. With a loud roar, he slammed his palm towards young Master Devil Sky who was rushing down from the sky. A huge palm shadow rushed out from his palm. Boom! The giant palm instantly enlarged and covered the entire heaven and earth. It emitted a terrifying power that crushed everything and destroyed the void that was enveloped by the giant palm. Demonic Sky Domain. Demonic light surged out of young Lord Demonic Sky's body. A pitch-black void appeared between the heavens and earth. There was a vast amount of demonic aura and terrifying demonic howls. It was as if a group of demons was dancing within. The black demon domain quickly spread out in the void, trying to devour Jiyu Fei's sky-covering palm into the dark demon domain that had no light at all. Rumble, Jiyu Fei's heaven-covering palm struck into the dark domain. The aura emitted from the giant palm illuminated the dark void. The entire dark void shook and layers of demonic aura were dispersed. The demonic sky domain was on the verge of collapsing. This shocked young Lord Demonic Sky who was hiding within the domain. Eventually, the demonic sky domain destroyed the heaven-covering palm. However, young Lord Demonic Sky did not fare well either. His demonic body suffered a huge impact and a few cracks appeared on his body. It had been many years since his demonic body was shattered. His demonic body was actually injured by a human who was also a martial emperor. This was unacceptable to young Lord Demonic Sky. He was a demon emperor who could conquer the world in ancient times. This human martial emperor was merely a martial emperor who had just matured. As someone with the supreme bloodline of the demons, it was a great humiliation for him to be injured by a human. This could only be washed away with the fresh blood of a human martial emperor. Demon dominates the world, 9 heavens 10 earths demon emperor Fis. Young Lord Demonic Sky let out a furious roar that shook the heavens and earth. An extremely domineering aura erupted from his body. 10 demonic lights circled around his body in an extremely wild manner. Boom. Chapter 13:15. The 9 heavens 10 earths demonic emperor fist was an invincible battle technique created by the sovereign demons. The demonic sky young master's fist shattered the heavens and earth. The destructive force surged towards Jiyu Fei in an earth-shattering manner, shattering the void. Even the chaotic chi was forced out, causing the entire world to crumble. Everyone was shocked to the extreme. The immortals and demons nearby retreated far away, afraid that they would be affected by the force and end up with their souls destroyed. The demonic sky young master has actually cultivated such a demonic battle technique. Far in the sky, Hei Tian couldn't help but be appalled at the sight. The 9 heavens 10 earths demonic emperor fist could be said to be the killing technique of the demonic sky clan. If the sovereign demons were to execute it, he would be able to shatter the 9 heavens 10 earths with unparalleled power. Even though the demonic sky young master had yet to reach the severing Dao realm, this killing technique still displayed an invincible might when executed by him. At this moment, Jiyu Fei felt an immense pressure. A dangerous aura had already shrouded him. Facing such a killing technique, even he started to feel nervous. This human is dead meat. This is the supreme killing technique of the devil race's sovereign bloodline. The 9 heavens 10 earths demonic emperor fist has reappeared. From afar, be it the immortals or demons, they were all stunned by the punch of the demonic sky young master. Some of the demons knew of the background of the demonic sky young master and did not think that the human could go against him. Even the attention of some of the old antiques was attracted over. Raw. Boundless pressure pressed down on him. The 5 elemental true power in Gu Fei's body surged as rays of 5-colored radiance rushed out of his body. The martial path true power was at its peak. He roared into the sky as the 5 elemental lesser worlds revolved rapidly around him. The 5 elemental powers intertwined and the 5 elemental lesser worlds rapidly fused together. 5 elemental unity, invincible. Break. Gu Fei let out a furious roar. The power of the 5 elements merged into one in an instant and gathered towards his right fist in a frenzy. His right fist was like a 5-colored sun, emitting a blinding divine light. Boom. Gu Fei didn't hesitate and immediately punched out. The power of the 5 elements as one was extremely strong. Within the 5 elements' chi, blurry Tao patterns appeared. This punch of his had triggered a trace of the great Tao of heaven and earth. They were both domineering and powerful. Gu Fei's punch was not any weaker than the Devil Sky Young Master's 9 heavens 10 earths Devil Emperor fist. The power of the 5 elements shook heaven and earth. A vast expanse of the void shattered under Gu Fei's fist. The shattered void returned to its most primitive state, filled with vast and mighty chaotic chi. This was a battle between supreme battle skills. There was no room for tricks. Young Lord Demonic Sky had given it his all in a single punch. This punch was the embodiment of his supreme strength. It was the same for Gu Fei. With the 5 elements as one, the might of his flawless 5 elements fist was pushed to its peak. This punch was already the strongest punch he could unleash. Bang! It was as if 2 ancient mountains had collided together. Gu Fei's fist emitting a boundless 5-colored godly glow collided with young Lord Demonic Sky's domineering fist. 2 domineering forces collided head-on. It was a clash between 2 supreme physiques, or a different kind of battle between the supreme demon sky of the demons and the martial progenitor of the human race. The void within a radius of thousands of feet was instantly torn apart by the destructive power of the fist. A circle of transparent ripples, visible to the naked eye, spread out. Wherever the transparent ripples passed, the void was silently annihilated. Roar. Gu Fei's long hair danced wildly in the wind as he used his right fist to block young Master Evil Sky's fist. The sleeve on his right arm had already turned into ashes, while his entire arm was lacerated, with fresh blood oozing out from the wounds. Every drop of blood was emitting a crimson glow, containing the true force of the martial path. It was a type of precious blood that contained great vitality. Only the martial physiques of the human race possessed such a powerful blood. Gu Fei felt as if his entire arm was about to shatter. He could feel the bones in his arm cracking. If it weren't for the vague Tao runes on his bones, his entire arm would have turned into a bloody mist by now. Imprinting Tao runes on his bones to achieve immortality was the way to refine a supreme sacred physique on the martial path. It was the way to make a martial physique indestructible. So powerful, the supreme demon's bloodline is indeed extraordinary. Gu Fei was astonished by young Lord Demonic Sky's strength. It went without saying that almost no martial dominator of the same rank could resist his 5 elements fist. A martial physique was the strongest physique among all cultivators. Even the physiques of divine beasts of the same rank could not compare to it. Gu Fei did not expect the supreme demon's bloodline to possess a powerful demon physique that was comparable to a martial physique. Nice. The martial physique of the human race is indeed worthy of its reputation. Young Lord Demonic Sky's right fist collided with Gu Fei's right fist. Black demonic blood oozed out from his fist. This demonic blood was different from ordinary demonic blood. The demonic blood that oozed out from young Lord Demonic Sky's fist was surrounded by demonic chi. It was like a black demonic jade that contained a demonic power. This was a phenomenon that only occurred with the innate true demon bloodline. The Supreme Demon's bloodline could not be faked. Young Lord Demonic Sky's demonic blood contained the power inherited from the Supreme Demon's bloodline. This power was hidden within the bloodline and could be said to be the power of the bloodline. "You're not too bad yourself," Ji Fei said. At this moment, with them as the epicenter, the void within a radius of a dozen miles turned into chaos. Huge spatial cracks extended for hundreds of miles. Some immortals and demons who could not escape in time were directly devoured by the spatial cracks and destroyed in both body and soul. "You're fated to die under my fist today." A cruel sneer appeared on young Lord Demonic Sky's handsome face. Then, as if something had awakened in his body, an even more powerful aura erupted from his body. "What?" Ji Fei was shocked. Young Lord Demonic Sky still had strength left? Could it be that he was only using the bloodline power that he inherited from the devil race's supreme Mo Tian now? Bam! An unimaginably powerful force erupted from young Lord Demonic Sky's fist. It was unstoppable and Ji Fei was sent flying more than 10 miles away by the force. A trace of blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. The human race martial physique is actually this powerful. Young Lord Demonic Sky was secretly shocked. He had already used the power of his bloodline, but it was still difficult to kill this human race martial physique. He could only injure him but not kill him. Chapter 13:16. The young Lord of Demonic Sky was like a primordial demon that had descended. His black hair danced in the wind as demonic aura surged from his body. A faint demonic shadow was faintly discernible on his body. The illusory figure emitted a domineering demonic might. Although it was only an illusory figure, it exuded a terrifying aura that could shake the heavens. The immortals and demons that were fighting nearby stopped involuntarily. They felt an extremely dangerous aura and their souls were trembling. The power of the bloodline. In the distant sky, Hei Tian was equally shocked as he witnessed the scene. The young Lord of Demonic Sky was a descendant of the Supreme Demons and possessed the bloodline of the Supreme Demon. Not everyone could possess such a bloodline. The power of the Demonic Sky had been refined into his bloodline. Once this power was unleashed, it could display unimaginable strength. Ji Fei was sent flying over 10 miles away as blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. His emperor martial body had suffered a huge blow and his right arm had almost turned into a mist of blood. His entire arm was filled with cracks from the unstoppable power that erupted from the fist of the young Lord of Demonic Sky. Even his arm bones that were branded with vague Tao patterns had cracked like a spider's web. His flesh was torn apart and his bones were injured. The power of the young Lord of Demonic Sky's bloodline was so strong that even Ji Fei was affected and his martial body was injured. The young Lord of Demonic Sky closed in on Ji Fei step by step. The entire heaven and earth shook along with his footsteps as if resonating with the great Tao and gathering supreme demonic power. This fluctuation was controlled by the young Lord of Demonic Sky and it surged towards Ji Fei as if it wanted to tear him apart. This was the vibration of the great Tao of heaven and earth and it could kill a sage. Although the young Lord of Demonic Sky had yet to sever his Tao, his current strength was enough to kill a Tao severing almighty or even a half-sage. Not everyone could withstand the vibration of the great Tao. Ji Fei's body jerked, causing the void to tremble. A transparent ripple spread out from his body, blocking the terrifying shockwave. At the same time, his right arm was rapidly recovering. His injured body was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the cracks on his bones were also rapidly disappearing. In an instant, his arm had completely recovered, as if it had never been injured. It was as good as new and full of strength. Kill. Yi Futian's battle intent was like a rainbow as his qi and blood surged into the sky. He went straight for the young Lord of the Devil Sky. Who cares about the sovereign bloodline or the invincible great demon? I'll just destroy him with a single punch. The 5 elemental true force surged as both of Ji Fei's fists emitted a brilliant 5-colored divine radiance. The terrifying energy shook the heavens and earth as he charged forward and punched towards the young Lord of the Demonic Sky. The entire heaven and earth was submerged by the 5 elemental true power. Ji Fei's entire body was covered with blurry Tao patterns, and traces of Tao energy were condensing in his body. However, He had still underestimated the supreme bloodline of the demons. The Demon Sky Young Master made his move as the Demon Sky Young Master unleashed a torrential demon chi that engulfed the heaven and earth. Boom! The boundless five elemental true power was dispersed, and Ji Yu Fei was once again sent flying dozens of miles away. He seemed to be completely suppressed by the young lord of the demonic sky. To be more precise, he was suppressed by the supreme bloodline of the demons within the young lord of the demonic sky. This was an innate advantage that others could not compare to. The power contained within the bloodline was already present at birth, and it was the power of the sovereign demons. Ji Yu Fei did not have such an advantage. He had to take things one step at a time, and relied on his unremitting efforts to achieve his current cultivation and strength. Ji Yu Fei spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. He felt as if all the bones in his body were about to shatter. How is this possible? The power of his bloodline is even stronger than the sky demons. Ji Yu Fei was truly shocked. The supreme bloodline of the demons was stronger than the sky demon's bloodline. One must know that the sky demon was also a carnate great demon and was one of the two demon ancestors of the demon race. The sky demon's bloodline should also be the supreme bloodline. However, the power of the supreme bloodline of the demons had exceeded Ji Yu Fei's expectations. Human martial physique is only SOSO. Killing you is as easy as pinching an ant. The young lord of the demonic sky was extremely domineering. He took a step forward and was already in front of Ji Yu Fei. The young lord of the demonic sky seemed to have struck out casually. Demonic runes appeared on his palm, drawing upon the power of the great Tao of heaven and earth. It was difficult to resist such power. Bam! Ji Yu Fei raised his palm to meet the attack, but even with his full strength, he was still sent flying by the young lord of the demonic sky's palm strike. Cracks appeared on his emperor martial physique. Oh no! Hei Tian, who was far in the sky, was shocked to see this scene. His boss was completely suppressed by the young lord of the demonic sky. The young lord's battle strength was probably comparable to a half-saint. If even his boss was suppressed, he would only be sending himself to his death if he went up. Hei Tian had the intention to retreat. As long as there's life, there's hope. As long as he didn't die, it was still unknown who would have the last laugh. However, Hei Tian wasn't that worried because Ji Yu Fei still had the strength to fight. Each of the 9 secrets of the immortal path possessed heaven-defying power. He should be able to fight against the demonic sky. Roar! Ascend to the heavens! Ji Yu Fei bellowed. An extremely powerful energy burst out from his body, rapidly healing the wounds on his body. Rumble! The energy emitted from Ji Yu Fei's body shook the heavens and earth. Transparent ripples appeared in the void around him as if it couldn't contain his martial physique. This was an extremely tyrannical energy. Ji Yu Fei's strength instantly rose to a level that shocked the young lord of the demonic sky. 5-colored chi and blood circled around his body like huge dragons. It was as if a supreme 5 elements martial saint had descended. The 9 secrets of the immortal path's ascension secret technique. The young lord of the demonic sky stopped in his tracks. Demonic light flickered in his demonic eyes. Blood-colored and black demonic light intertwined, forming an extremely strange state. It's still uncertain who's the ant. You want to kill me? Unless you've already severed your Tao. That might be possible. Ji Yu Fei sneered. The young lord of the demonic sky was very arrogant. So what if it's the 9 secrets of the immortal path? I'll kill you all the same. Although the young lord of the demonic sky was shocked, he didn't show it. As he spoke, blood-colored demonic light and black demonic light intertwined in his demonic eyes. 2 beams of demonic light shot out from his eyes. This was a great technique of the demonic path activated by the power of his bloodline. Tao power gathered in the demonic eyes of the young lord of the demonic sky. This was the power of the great Tao that could penetrate through everything. Swoosh! Ji Yu Fei took a step forward. He completely ignored the 2 beams of demonic light that shot out from the young lord of the demonic sky's eyes and instantly appeared in front of the young lord. The 2 beams of demonic light imbued with Tao power struck Ji Yu Fei's body. However, they were immediately dispersed by the invincible power that emanated from his body. This Chapter 13:17. The secret skill of ascension had caused Ji Yufei's strength to soar. The strength of his emperor martial body had reached an unimaginable level. He was able to block young Lord Devilsky's attack with his physical body, causing the latter to be moved. Swoosh! Young Lord Devilsky was forced to retreat by Ji Yufei. He left an afterimage on the spot while his real body retreated over 10 miles away. His speed was so fast that not even his shadow could be seen. However, even though he was fast, Ji Yufei was faster. The moment young Lord Devilsky appeared a few miles away, Ji Yufei's fist had already landed on his chest. Bam! Catcher! Ji Yufei's punch sent young Lord Devilsky flying. Young Lord Devilsky's sternum was shattered and a fist mark appeared on his chest. He spat out a mouthful of demonic blood. He was injured. He was actually injured by a human. Young Lord Devilsky was infuriated. The demonic shadow that emerged from his body was almost dispersed. Roar! He stopped his retreat and roared into the sky. His black hair stood on end and his demonic eyes shot out a terrifying demonic light. The demonic shadow that emerged from his body looked as though it was about to walk out from the void. A domineering aura was emitted from the demonic shadow. Young Lord Devilsky's bloodline power erupted and his injured body recovered rapidly. The fist mark on his chest disappeared in an instant. His injured body was healed in an instant and the demonic aura that he exuded was even stronger than before. The power of the Supreme Demon's bloodline was undeniable. There were not many people who could be called Supreme Demons even in ancient times. Young Lord Devilsky's bloodline power that he inherited from the Supreme Demon's bloodline erupted. The demonic shadow on his body emitted a terrifying aura that made everyone have the urge to kneel down. Some demons with weaker cultivation were already kneeling on the ground in fear. Their bodies were trembling as though they were worshipping their Supreme Demon. I'm going to extract your spiritual soul and suppress it for 10,000 years. I'll make you wish you were dead. Young Master Devilsky was truly enraged. How many years had it been? Even in the ancient times, no human had ever been able to hurt him. Although the human tribe had produced a few supreme saints in ancient times, the human tribe was still a relatively weak race compared to the 10,000 tribes of the untainted land. Other than the supreme sages, there were not many true experts in the human race. However, it was different for the other races. The demons and the demon race all had peerless experts. In the eyes of the experts of the other races, other than the supreme sages, the rest of the human race were extremely weak and could not even withstand a single blow. In some savage places, the human race had even been reduced to become the blood food of the ferocious primeval races, and they were slaughtered at will and taken to be a type of food that was raised in captivity. The weakness of the human tribe could not be changed by the emergence of a few supreme saints. However, with the existence of a few supreme saints, the untainted land did not dare to provoke the human tribe. However, back in the ancient times, the young lord of the demonic sky was extremely respected. He was the descendant of the ancestor of the 1,000 demons and possessed the supreme bloodline of the demon race. Being injured by a human race expert was something that young Master Devilsky would never have dreamed of. Swoosh! Young Lord Devilsky stretched out his hand. Boundless demonic energy surged from his palm and formed a pitch-black demonic hand. It enveloped the entire heaven and earth in an instant and slammed down towards Ji Yufei. Rumble! Demonic runes appeared on the demonic hand. The void below the palm was destroyed, leaving nothing behind. Even the chaotic energy was released. Clang! Against the killer move, Ji Yufei's body vibrated. Then, 5 divine swords appeared around him. These were the divine swords formed by the power of the 5 elements of heaven and earth. The Crimson Divine Sword was the Fire Divine Sword, the Dazzling Metal Divine Sword, the Water Divine Sword, the Earth Divine Sword, and the Wood Divine Sword that was full of vitality. The 5 divine swords emitted a sky-piercing sword aura. The temperature of the void dropped rapidly due to the impact of the sword aura. The chilling sword aura made everyone's heart palpitate. Swoosh! Ji Yufei received the metal divine sword and slashed upwards. A dazzling golden sword radiance rushed out from Ji Yufei's hand. It soared tens of thousands of feet in an instant, splitting the black hand that was slapping down from the sky into two. The void of heaven and earth seemed to be split into two by this sword. The metal divine sword aura was unstoppable. After splitting the demonic hand, it soared up tens of thousands of feet, illuminating the dark heaven and earth. This sword was too shocking. Everyone was stunned by the ripples of the sword aura. What? Young Lord Devil Sky was shocked to see that Jiu Fei had broken through his demonic divine technique so easily. The secret technique of ascension was indeed extraordinary. It could allow a human race martial body to have the strength to fight against his sovereign bloodline. An existence with a sovereign bloodline would also have a sovereign physique. It was unbelievable that someone in the human race could fight against such a sovereign physique. If this human was a descendant of the martial ancestor and had the bloodline of the martial ancestor, it would make sense. After all, the martial ancestor was also a sovereign of the human race. Although he was a sovereign, the martial ancestor's bloodline still contained the power of the sovereign bloodline. The extreme Dao Saint's bloodline was extremely powerful and could be passed down to his descendants. This was the continuation of the extreme Dao Saint's life. Roar! Go to hell! Young Lord Devil Sky roared. He waved his hands and a ball of black light appeared between his hands. There were demonic runes on the black light and he shot it out. Jiu Fei didn't care about such an attack at all. He pointed his finger, wanting to destroy the ball of black light. However, the ball of black light seemed to have a life of its own and dodged his attack. The ball of black light with demonic runes smashed towards Jiu Fei. Jiu Fei couldn't help but be stunned. He had never seen such an attack before. Just as Jiu Fei was about to dodge, the ball of black light suddenly exploded with a loud bang. Destructive energy swept out in all directions and instantly enveloped Jiu Fei. In the next moment, Jiu Fei broke through the layers of destructive energy and rushed out. The five elements' magical swords vibrated in unison and emitted a monstrous sword chi wave, piercing towards the young Lord Devil Sky. The five-colored sword light soared tens of thousands of feet. Everything in its path was destroyed, leaving behind a pitch-black spatial crack. It was extremely terrifying. The secret art of ascension can't last for long. As long as I persevere, I can still kill this human race martial physique. Young Lord Devil Sky thought to himself. Jiu Fei was also aware of his own situation. He couldn't maintain the ascension state for long. If he couldn't kill the young Lord Devil Sky within the duration of the secret art of ascension, he would be in deep trouble. The dazzling sword light pierced through and the terrifying sword chi caused the young Lord Devil Sky to feel danger. A demonic flag appeared in young Master Evil Sky's hand. As he waved the demonic flag, a powerful force of the Tao emanated from it, sweeping away the five elements' magical swords that had pierced through it. Demonic flag. Chapter 1318. Boom. A demonic flag was waved, and a powerful demonic power that seemed to be able to split the heavens spread out from the demonic flag. In an instant, the entire space turned into nothingness. The five dazzling sword lights were destroyed by this power. Heavenly demon flag, in the distant sky, Hei Tian immediately retreated. The destructive demonic power swept across the heavens and the earth. The earth was sinking and the stars in the sky were shaking. All lives within 100 miles were harvested in an instant. Immortals and demons who could not escape in time were turned into ashes and dissipated between heaven and earth. There was no other way to die more thoroughly than this. Destruction of body and soul. This was a phrase that would make any cultivator pale. This was the power of the demonic path. The demonic aura emitted from the heavenly demon flag was enough to crush the entire mountain range. Everyone's expression changed. I didn't expect the demonic sky young lord to bring the heavenly demon flag out. Someone murmured above the clouds in the distance. The power of the demonic path erupted and shook the heavens and earth. All living beings in the southern region of the heaven realm could feel this aura. The demonic weapon, the heavenly demon flag, has appeared. A powerful spiritual wave came from all the forbidden zones in the heaven realm. The existences in the forbidden zones were alarmed. Some supreme existences sent out their divine senses and scanned the southern region of the heaven realm. The heaven realm was a world that was ancient enough to be traced back to the Great Desolate Era. During the Great Desolate Era, someone discovered such a perfect world. At that time, the world had not changed. The experts of the 10,000 races of the Heaven Realm could enter and exit the Heaven Realm. However, during the later stages of the Heaven Realm, the world changed and the path to heaven disappeared. After countless years of evolution, the waters of the Heaven Realm became more and more complicated. Some people said that some of the saints did not leave and were hiding in the Heaven Realm. The various forbidden zones in the Heaven Realm were also guarded by supreme existences. As long as one barged in, even a half-saint might die inside. The appearance of the heavenly demon flag had alarmed some of the super-antiques. Bang! Gu Fei was sent flying 100 miles away by the mighty demonic power of the heavenly demon flag. Even the secret art of ascension was not enough. His physical body was on the verge of collapsing. Terrifying cracks appeared all over his body, and the martial physique's divine blood, which contained endless vitality, flowed out. Damn it! In the face of the sky demon flag, Gu Fei felt powerless. This was an extreme Dao demonic weapon. The wisp of extreme Dao aura that emanated from it was not something that an ordinary person could withstand. Everyone was retreating. No one dared to get too close. If Gu Fei didn't have a martial body and didn't use the Ascension secret technique, he would have turned into ashes like everyone else. Under the extreme demonic might, his martial body was still cracking, as if it could collapse in the void at any time. The extreme demonic power was too terrifying. Gu Fei felt the threat of death. Buzz! A tremor came from Gu Fei's dantian. Then, an aura so powerful that it could contend with the demonic flag surged out from Gu Fei's dantian. The demonic Sky Young Master's expression changed when he sensed the aura from Gu Fei. It was an extreme Dao aura. Could this human also have an extreme Dao sacred weapon? At this moment, the shadow of an ancient cauldron emerged from Gu Fei's body, blocking the extreme demonic might that was surging in from all directions. Could it be? The demonic Sky Young Master's expression turned ugly as if he had thought of something. Gu Fei's injured body was recovering rapidly. The divine blood flowed back and the cracks on his martial physique healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. I didn't expect it to be this. The demonic Sky Young Master's demonic eyes flickered with a terrifying demonic light. He stared at Gu Fei with a murderous aura. He waved the sky demon flag and swept it towards Gu Fei. The terrifying demonic might filled the air, shocking the heavens. Even a powerful being with a sacred weapon would be shocked by such power. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Gu Fei drew out the power of the mountain and river cauldron, which was equivalent to becoming one with the cauldron. At this moment, he dared to throw a punch at a saint. With just one punch, the entire world seemed like it was going to collapse. This was a clash of extreme Dao powers. If these two powers were to collide, it would result in great destruction. Everyone started to run for their lives. The clash between the extreme Dao sacred weapon and the extreme Dao demonic weapon would probably sink the entire region. Even in the regions that were emitting saint powers, there were people who retreated far away, not daring to get too close. After all, this was the power of the extreme Dao sacred weapon. The extreme Dao sacred weapon was a supreme sacred weapon refined by an extreme Dao master. It was the strongest weapon in the world and had the power to destroy the world. No one could imagine what would happen if the two extreme Dao sacred weapons collided. Perhaps the billions of living beings in the southern region of the Heaven Realm would be wiped out. The entire Scarlet Plains that had existed for countless years would probably sink and cease to exist. Two lunatics. Everyone was running for their lives, wanting to leave this region as soon as possible. If they were to be affected by the extreme Dao sacred force, even a half-saint would die. Just as the power of the mountain and river cauldron and the heavenly demon flag were about to collide, a demonic figure appeared next to the young master of the demonic sky. He then stretched out his hand and snatched the heavenly demon flag from the young master's hand. At the same time, another figure appeared next to Gu Fei and suppressed the power of the mountain and river cauldron that erupted from his body. Swoosh! The heavenly demon flag unfurled and wrapped around the young master of the demonic sky. Then, the demonic figure and the heavenly demon flag instantly disappeared into the void. The one who suppressed the power of the mountain and river cauldron within Jiyu Fei's body was the incarnation of the ancient wind god. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Even the mighty beings who were holding sacred weapons in the distance could relax. The clash between the extreme Tao sacred weapon and the extreme Tao demonic weapon was no joke. The two supreme existences took action and stopped this disaster. Senior, Jiyu Fei looked at the incarnation of the ancient wind god. The ancient wind god was a great saint king of the human clan. His cultivation was earth-shattering and only the extreme Tao saints were able to suppress him. Why did the incarnation of the ancient wind god stop him? Jiyu Fei was at a loss. He did not know why the incarnation of the ancient wind god did this. After all, the demons were the greatest enemies of the human clan. The incarnation of the ancient wind god did not speak. After suppressing the power of the mountain and river cauldron, he then disappeared into the void. The existence was so powerful that it could suppress a wisp of the extreme Tao sacred force emitted by the mountain and river cauldron. Jiyu Fei was extremely shocked and felt that it was unbelievable. Boom! At that moment, an earth-shattering noise was heard. A part of the void in the distance suddenly shattered. Chaotic chi gushed out and two extremely powerful sacred forces appeared between the heavens and the earth. Chapter 13:19. The clash between the sacred weapon and demonic weapon didn't actually happen. The crisis just vanished like that. Everyone felt as if it was a lifetime ago. If the two supreme weapons were to collide, it would definitely be a catastrophe. Among the people present, there wouldn't be many who could survive. But just as the crisis passed, the void suddenly shattered. Two terrifying figures broke through the void and fought from the primordial chaos. Two saint-level auras appeared between heaven and earth. What? How could there be such existences in this world? Saints! The appearance of these two silhouettes shocked everyone who saw this scene. They could not believe what they were seeing. The two figures exuded a saint-level aura. They looked down on the world and intimidated everyone, causing all the spirits in the world to tremble. This was a powerful pressure that reigned above all living beings. Saints had already surpassed the heavens and earth. They had condensed their own great Tao and coexisted with the Tao. In a sense, such existences were no longer bound by the heavens and earth. Transcending everything, high and mighty like a supreme god. This was what a saint was. Boom! The power of the immortal Tao erupted as the immortal Tao saint unleashed a supreme art of the immortal Tao, attacking an extremely terrifying blood fiend. Monstrous blood-colored demonic chi enveloped half the sky. These two saint-level existences were Jiyu Fei's avatar and the blood-colored demon. Jiyu Fei's avatar and the blood demon avatar broke through the void and rushed out from the primordial chaos. What's going on? The appearance of that immortal saint, the appearance of Jiyu Fei's avatar was exactly the same as his main body. Some people noticed the abnormality and were shocked once again. The blood demon avatar was extremely powerful. It could actually display the power of a saint level just like the ancient wind god avatar. Jiyu Fei's avatar couldn't gain any advantage at all. Swish! With a flash of crimson light, the blood demon incarnation thrust the crimson demonic spear in its hand at Jiyu Fei's battle avatar. The crimson demonic light emitted from the demonic spear directly shattered the void. Swoosh! Just as the blood-colored demonic light pierced through, Jiyu Fei's doppelganger abruptly disappeared, along with all the aura belonging to Jiyu Fei. What? When the blood demon clone saw this, his heart trembled. He retreated without hesitation. However, at this moment, a huge hand pressed down on his head. Boom! The power of the immortal Tao erupted from the palm. The boundless power of the immortal Tao blasted the blood demon clone apart, sending crimson demonic blood splattering everywhere. The instant the blood demon incarnation was blasted apart, a figure appeared where the blood demon had been. This person was none other than Jiyu Fei's battle avatar clone. The blood-red demonic spear soared into the sky. Roar! An indignant spirit wave was emitted from the blood-red demonic spear. A blurry figure emerged from the demonic spear. The smashed flesh and blood soared into the sky and converged on the blood-red demonic spear. Fresh blood flowed in reverse as the blood demon incarnation condensed once again. In an instant, the blood demon incarnation reappeared in front of everyone. Such an existence was very difficult to truly kill. As long as a strand of spirit remained, it could condense a new demonic body that was almost indestructible. Jiyu Fei's clone used the anti-void secret technique. This was a type of void profundity. Once mastered, one's body could merge with the void and become one with the world. Even those who had cultivated the inner eye would find it difficult to detect. Using the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao with saint-level power, the combat strength displayed was terrifying. Even the ancient blood demon incarnation would be affected by this move. Swish. The blood demon incarnation's body emitted tens of thousands of beams of demonic light. Then, within the endless blood-red light, a blood-red figure manifested. The figures rushed from all directions and surged towards Jiyu Fei. The blood demon incarnation hid among the thousands of figures. Even Jiyu Fei's saint-level battle avatar could not sense the true location of the blood demon incarnation. Every blood-red figure exuded the aura of the blood demon. Jiyu Fei's saint-level clone was shocked. The blood demon incarnation was hiding in the void. The blood demon incarnation's aura was everywhere. He felt a great sense of danger. Jiyu Fei's clone sneered. His figure blurred and he also entered the void, disappearing from the world. He used the void profundity to the fullest. Bam! Jiyu Fei's clone's fist collided with the blood demon's demonic spear. The thousands of blood-red figures immediately dissipated, and the blood demon incarnation condensed out of the void. He was struck out by Jiyu Fei from his state of merging with the void. At this moment, another blood-red figure silently appeared behind Jiyu Fei's clone. An extremely evil demonic spear pierced towards the back of Jiyu Fei's clone. Jiyu Fei's doppelganger instantly sensed the killing intent coming from behind. Without thinking, he dashed forward in an attempt to avoid the attack from behind. However, Jiyu Fei's clone was still too slow. He only felt a vibration on his shoulder. His entire shoulder felt like it was being torn apart. Jiyu Fei's clone was sent flying hundreds of feet away. Cracks appeared on his shoulder. It seemed like it could break at any time. The strength of the two was very close. It was really difficult to determine a winner. The blood demon incarnation did not continue fighting. He used a supreme demonic technique to force back Jiyu Fei's clone. Then, he rushed into the sky in an attempt to leave this chaotic region. By the time Jiyu Fei's clone rushed forward, the blood demon incarnation had already turned into a blood-red demonic light. Like a divine blood-red rainbow, it streaked across the sky and disappeared in the blink of an eye. This speed was already comparable to the 8 desolation steps. Jiyu Fei did not chase after the blood demon incarnation. The saint-grade battle avatar displayed great combat strength. It jumped out like a saint and stunned everyone. Even an almighty with a holy weapon might not be a match for Jiyu Fei's saint-grade battle avatar. Rumble, just as the blood demon incarnation retreated, a shocking sound suddenly came from the depths of this dusky region. An unimaginably powerful aura spread out. It seemed like something had awakened. Has the land of saints been opened? Everyone couldn't help but look towards the depths of this region. Hadn't they been fighting desperately to enter the land of saints? The human race, the demons, and the demon race had all sent supreme experts. Some had even come with holy weapons. The supreme experts of the human race were facing off against the great demons of the demons. The battle between the saint-grade experts hadn't happened, but the two sides were already at each other's throats. A battle between the saint-grade experts could erupt at any time. However, at this moment, everyone rushed into the sky and rushed towards the depths of this dusky region. They all wanted to enter the land of saints as soon as possible. Chapter 1320. The land of saint burial was one of the great forbidden zones of life in the heaven realm. No one knew when such a forbidden zone had appeared. It was said that saints were buried in the land of saint burial. Some people had even seen the corpses of saints inside. It was a great tomb of a saint. The Scarlet Plains had long been in chaos. There were traces of attacks from holy weapons everywhere. The earth had sunk and the cracks in space had yet to be repaired. Before Jiyu Fei and the others came out of the world created by the great saints of the ancient times, Many great figures had already made a move. In particular, the experts who came with holy weapons could destroy the heavens and the earth. They could sink the earth, dry up rivers, and destroy a region. It was a display of supreme saintly might. The aura that suddenly erupted from the depths of the Scarlet Plains was definitely at the saint level. Even Jiu Fei felt a tremor from the depths of his soul. Several powerful auras erupted from various parts of the Scarlet Plains. Some people with holy weapons soared into the sky and rushed into the depths of the Scarlet Plains. Everyone believed that this was a sign that the land of Saint Burial had opened. Jiu Fei and He Tian walked together. Jiu Fei already had the strength to compete with experts from all sides with his holy battle avatar. The land of Saint Burial had endless mysteries that were worth exploring. Jiu Fei's primordial spirit entered the avatar. The avatar took on an appearance that was no different from him. Its body emitted a saintly aura that made no one dare to approach it. The power of a saint was too powerful. Jiu Fei's avatar just stood quietly in the void, but it had an invisible might that could crush the world. Saints were high and mighty, overlooking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Without reaching that level, it was impossible to know how powerful a saint was. What is in the land of Saint Burial? I'm really looking forward to it. He Tian was in favor of Jiu Fei exploring the land of Saint Burial. As long as there were treasures, this guy was as excited as if he had been injected with chicken blood. His eyes shone brightly. Swoosh. Jiu Fei's saint-grade clone used its immortal Tao divine ability to open a small world and put them inside. His primordial spirit entered the saint-grade clone, which was equivalent to Jiu Fei's main body. The land of buried saints was said to be able to bury saints. It was definitely an extremely dangerous place. Jiu Fei and He Tian did not want to gamble with their lives. This was the safest method. Jiu Fei's primordial spirit of the immortal Tao fused perfectly with the battle avatar refined by an ancient great immortal, allowing him to unleash immortal arts with even greater ease. He retracted the saint-level aura on this clone and then disappeared into the void. It was as if he had escaped into the world and became one with it. This was one of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, the anti-void secret art. It was the power of the void, allowing Jiu Fei's clone to traverse the void at a speed no less than 8 steps. The appearance of the land of Saint Burial and the supreme tomb that accompanied it caused the entire celestial realm to boil over. Even the appearance of the lost palace of the moon deities hadn't caused such a stir. This time, a few super antiques and the avatars left behind in the celestial realm appeared. This was definitely a sign that a great era was about to begin. Some people had already guessed that the opportunity to become a saint would appear in this era. No one who dared to enter the forbidden zone of life was weak. Jiu Fei's primordial spirit entered the saint-grade battle avatar and used the anti-void secret art to head deeper into the Scarlet Plains. The Scarlet Plains was a barrier between the central plains and the southern regions of the celestial realm. Even in normal times, absolutely no one would be willing to enter such a place. But at this time, the entire Scarlet Plains had changed greatly. The blood-colored mist that had shrouded the sky all year round had dissipated. The sky had become incomparably dusky, as if the entire sky was about to fall down from the heavens. On the scarlet ground, bottomless cracks could be seen everywhere. An extremely terrifying aura spread out from these cracks. Jiu Fei's primordial spirit entered the saint-grade battle avatar and could use the power of a saint. His speed was extremely fast. Soon, he saw a blood-colored light soaring into the sky in front of him. That's, Jiu Fei's heart trembled. A blood-colored door had appeared in the void in front of him. All the blood-colored light was emitted from that blood-colored door, and a terrifying aura of death was being emitted from it. Boom! At this time, someone made a move. A pitch-black demonic wheel descended from the sky, exuding a majestic demonic might that could shake the heavens. It moved towards a figure shrouded in immortal energy that resembled Emperor Xian of the 9 heavens. Bang! The figure with the aura of the immortal Tao pointed out with a finger, shattering the void. He wanted to collect the demonic wheel that was falling from the sky into the void of primal chaos. Saint-grade power, Jiu Fei stopped in the distance. Those who could come to this place were either super antiques that had survived from the desolate world, or giants of major powers with holy weapons. A great devil was attacking, wanting to kill a blurry immortal silhouette. It wasn't a true body, but an incarnation. The immortal energy resonated with the grand Tao, and the incarnation was drawing in Tao energy. Could it be another incarnation left behind by those monstrous characters from the ancient era? Ji Yufei couldn't help but be shaken by this scene. The divine abilities of those monstrous characters from the ancient era had reached an unimaginable level. Even the incarnations left behind could display the power of a saint. The heavenly world wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. These existences weren't true saints, but they could display the power of a saint. In the current era, such power represented invincibility. An old man appeared nearby and said, "The land of Saint Burial has truly opened." "That's the legendary gate of hell." Ji Yufei recognized the old man. He was the arcane guru of the heaven world's arcane holy land. This old man was unfathomable. Although he was only a half-step saint, Ji Yufei could sense that he was even more terrifying than a half-step saint. He was afraid that he had already touched the threshold. Over the endless years, many existences had been shackled to that threshold. Now that the opportunity to become a saint had appeared, it would be strange if they didn't jump out. It was unknown who would emerge victorious in the battle for the origin Tao fruit and become the first saint since the destruction of the desolate world. Ji Yufei believed that the one who would obtain the origin Tao fruit in the end would be the old turtle. That was because the old turtle had the great sovereign seal of the Great Path. No one could contend against him. Unless someone also used an extreme Tao sacred weapon. The gate of hell has appeared. We're not too late. While Ji Yufei was thinking, two terrifying figures appeared in the nearby void. They were two middle-aged men who looked like gods and demons. One of them was dressed in white while the other was dressed in black. Yin-yang duo,